Futures back in positive territory for the second straight morning here, looking somewhat similar to Friday morning at this point. Anyways, trying to hold a bit of a gain here for the S&P. Sentiment overall getting a little bit of a boost this morning from positive comments from the White House on Chinese tariffs and some of the moves that the previous administration put on Chinese companies possibly being lifted. So we'll talk about some of the Chinese ADR showing strength here early on this morning, coming off a big bounce on Friday afternoon led by tech stocks primarily. The S&P did bounce off of bear market territory to close pretty strong. In fact, heading into the weekend, the NASDAQ and the Dow following suit. Still, though, the S&P 19% off its all-time highs, the Dow 15.4%. The NASDAQ still faring the worst from the beginning of the year, 30% off all-time highs for the NASDAQ still. Little M&A activity or rumors of such this morning. BMW and Broadcom apparently in discussions on a big deal, possibly. BMW higher, Broadcom to the downside. XPEV out with earnings this morning as well. We'll talk about some of the Chinese EV makers coming up. Brand new week. It's Monday, May 23rd, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Morning to kick things off, 0.87 for the S&P, a full percent for the Dow right now, about 0.5% for the NASDAQ. Good to see everything in positive territory. Even, Bitcoin and Ethereum at the bottom end, they're looking pretty good to kick off the new week. Very volatile, a couple of sessions to end last week, so we'll see if some of these gains can hold. Coming off a pretty strong Friday afternoon. Good morning, guys. Brand new week, as we said. Lots to look forward to this week. On a macro level, we'll get the Fed minutes coming up on Wednesday. That's kind of the next benchmark when it comes to this whole inflation discussion. So we'll see if anything changed. Otherwise, we're on hydro cut watch here around Toronto, Sean. It's been a few days. How are things?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, if I didn't even say anything to you guys like 20 minutes ago, no one would know anything pretty much. But I know it was a pretty bad, actually it was a pretty bad storm. I heard Randy's getting clobbered over there as well up north. But we still don't have power at my place. So it's been about 48 hours. Well, as of 1 o'clock. And we were at the Markham Fairgrounds at Kids Fest, and then we got that. Did you guys get that warning on your phone? You guys didn't get it in Brampton, or you did?
I didn't get a warning.
Anyone in Toronto, we got like a major alert, and we're listening to the radio, and it was like major thunderstorms, hail, tornadoes. And apparently, it all happened, and then my street still without power. But there's a lot, there's a lot more people worse off. So the fact that we had to have a cold shower and. It was just fun.
It's good for you. Cold tower.
Yeah, it's fine. The problem is at night, though. It's like all of a sudden it just gets. So we had campfire last night out back. We had some s'mores. So we were throwing it down when you get the kids to bed and you're using your flashlight on your phone.
Hold on a second. At what point, you're describing good things, So you had s'mores, you did the campfire, the kids love that, first of all. Two, s'mores, you just had to do that any time. So not a bad way to do it.
No, not a bad way. But see, today I have the Tim Hortons instead of the coffee from home. So you don't have to hear, you don't have to smell the hazelnut. But anyways, and apparently the hydro company was rolling down our street for the first time. We didn't see them at all. And then the guy might as well have just played Rocky music or something. Apparently my whole street was very excited. Right now, and even my dog is going nuts. So, it should be a lot of fun. But there's trading to happen, and I just wish everybody, was safe on the storm, and apparently it's bad. Yeah. Randy is saying that they don't have power, and they're saying it's going to be weeks.
It's some places that are really bad. It's weird. My street, it was 90 minutes we lost the power. Oh. And then but on the other side of our street, literally my neighbors across the street.
Same as us.
I don't know if they got theirs back yet.
Oh, okay.
So, I think they're like you guys. And the trees are everywhere. Thank goodness the one that's the worst looking branch from the old tree that we got to take down somehow didn't. It's the only thing that didn't fall.
You got to make sure that the trees aren't dead, because if they're dead, they get blown out real quick.
That birch is old, man. It's got to go.
And then we had, we had some tryouts for my daughter. So everything was going pretty good. Everything's pretty happy. But Brendan, how about yourself? The condo's all right?
I was staying to Neil this morning. Besides a couple of flower pots on our balcony getting knocked over, I mean, it was. I didn't even realize how bad it was initially. I got that same warning, but it was 5 minutes. I mean, it got really dark. There was crazy winds, and then 10 minutes later, there was blue sky, but I did not lose power, so I know how frustrating that can be. So hopefully today, Sean, we'll get back to normal. Let's get into a few things to know heading into the open this morning, under an hour to go here. I wanted to show you a chart of the 10-year to kick things off this morning because we are kind of consolidating around key areas from a couple of weeks ago. This is a daily chart of the 10-year back to 2.8 after we got up to 3.2 last week. As I said, Fed minutes to come Wednesday this week. That's going to be the next major checkpoint. Davos over in Switzerland also underway this week. So typically some individual comments come out of that. It's been a couple of years, worth noting, because of COVID. So typically, comments can move the market coming out of that. So we'll keep an eye on that. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon saying a few things right now about the state of JP Morgan in particular, but nothing major. Stock's not moving at all. I wanted to mention cryptocurrencies, though, guys. Big bounce off of what we saw happen last week for Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're back to 30.5, trying to get back up to 31 for Bitcoin, but some of the individual stocks not really following suit here.
Not really. I can't take my eyes right now this morning off of two things. One, I mean, monkeypox and. And you know what? Like, I apologize in advance if I laugh occasionally because monkeypox just sounds funny. But that GovX, Sega moving pretty heavily, and Nvidia really, really weak this morning, like down 2.5% and continues to fall. But part of the story too has been, what happened over what didn't happen, which is closing in bear market territory for the SPY. So we continue to bounce off that. But what's weird about, you mentioned crypto there, and of course the one I've been usually looking at, Coinbase. It is just in after going pretty, not parabolic, but I guess the word is capitulating, I guess is what I should say, because that's what I say, the last couple of weeks, this has been just going sideways in a really, really small and tight range for the last little bit. And this sort of corresponds with this battle that's, 28,000, 29,000, you get barely above 30,000. And Coinbase has just been chilling out in the 60, 62, 72 range. And I kind of expected last week that we'd see a movement out of here and we'd get a big time trade one way or the other. And then we look at this week and it's exactly the same things that we're going to be watching. Like it's the 60 to 62. Does that get broken down? If 28 goes, further pressure. If the market takes another crack to the downside, yeah, you're looking at things like that breaking. But the other side is true. Like you got to wipe out capitulation bottom on Coinbase on a huge volume. Like the 2-day peak when it took the low and broke 50, like that was monstrous volume at the bottom, and now you're consolidating. So you are set up for a potential breakout. Sometimes temp bottoms do look like that. It's just surprising to see such sideways action, and I know it's a 10 to 12, maybe even 15% range, but given the way that the stock had been moving the week before, not a heck of a lot. So I'm not going to be diddling in the middle here. It's a 60 to 62 at the bottom. It's a 70, 72 at the top. And you don't want to trade it at any other price. And oh goodness, there goes GovX again. It's unavoidable. It's the monkeypox stocks to the moon. That's the closest thing I got that we have for that graphic. But this thing is just off to the races. By the way, 9 million share float on GOVX. So very, very small float. Be very, very careful trading it. Like it's cheap, which means it doesn't take much for it to halt. Like 10% is nothing on a stock like this.
Oh, no, yeah. Well, I'm already in Sega here as well, but since we're talking about Bitcoin, and some of the companies, I mean, look at HUD 8 here. I mean, this is a name that, I mean, we never really talk about it. We talk about the Coinbases of the world and, SI and, even some of the major banks as well now getting into crypto. He's a Block and PayPal, things like that, also involved. But, we looked at it. We had Frank Caberna on from the small exchange, and he had, I think it was SCCX or some sort of like an ETF kind of futures based on the crypto market. And he was like, the crypto market's basically at all-time lows right now. And despite having Bitcoin up there, and a lot of it is because of some of these, layer 2, even layer 1 coins, protocols like a Solana, like a Cardano. We talked about Avalanche a little bit, but anyways, as it starts to come back in here, HUD 8, again, they're all about mining and high performance computing, and just Web 3.0. This is a good barometer for me as well to look at, and it's been getting absolutely crushed. And I don't know, I already have some money in crypto, not a lot, but like this is another one here. You talked about Coinbase maybe bottoming out. Look at Hut 8 down here, just bouncing off $2 a little bit, 250, and trying to get higher. So if there is a rally in the crypto market, I feel like, especially because a lot of these, like I was saying, off brand, like not Ethereum, not Bitcoin, you know, some of these littler coins here, if you believe in them, Hut 8 is going to be a name for you as well. So I'm not trying to promote any of these names. To me, it doesn't really matter. I just think there's some opportunities to be had in the space right now. And listening to what Frank said and just looking at some of these charts, you know, you do have reasons to get in and then reasons to get out. And you know, 225 there is the bottom of Hut 8. So if you wanted to put in, you know, a little bit of money into this one right now, thinking that the crypto market was about to bounce. And I just think crypto's moving with NASDAQ right now. So if the NASDAQ bounces, you're going to see crypto bounce as well. You know, so this is a name that I look at right here, 225 at the bottom for Hut 8.
All right, speaking of Frank Caberno, let's bring him in, get a check of what's to happen, or prospectively what could happen coming up this week with some of these contracts and some of these ideas that we've been discussing over the past couple of weeks. Good to see you as always, Frank. Welcome back. It's going to be an interesting week here for, you know, major markets. We'll get to that in a second, but specifically some of these smaller type ideas, as we were just saying, with, you know, the Hut 8s of the world, the cryptocurrencies of the world. Give us your take here on where things are. We were talking a little bit on Friday as far as the correlation between tech stocks and some of the crypto markets. What are you looking for this week?
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about tech stocks and crypto, as they do trade very positively correlated these days. Essentially, crypto is trading like a risk on asset, Brendan, and we will hopefully have some time to talk U.S. dollar, because U.S. dollar is getting smoked as we speak. We've got a British pound up 100 points, euro up 100 points. But I do want to start in the stock world and just take a look at this week's range. This is something that I like to do every once in a while. We're going to do it for NASDAQ. We're going to do it for one of the small technology equity products. And then I also want to do it for the crypto asset class here in a second. And what I do here, Brennan, is I calculate the realized volatility of these markets for the last couple of months. And then I take that volatility and I attribute it to the current today's price and say, all right, what are we working with for this week? And what we're working with for this week in NASDAQ is about 11,100 to 12,500 in terms of an expected range. Why do I bring this up? Why is this especially relevant right now? Well, because we've been closing below the expected range in NASDAQ for a few weeks in a row here. And with today's bounce, everything's looking good. Bitcoin is up 3.5%. NASDAQ is up. It was up a percentage point, actually giving up some ground right now as we speak. If this market can bounce back, Brendan, and beat its expected range and close this week above 12,500, then I'm feeling pretty decent about this stock market actually reversing and making a bounce back. If we hold in this range of 11,000 to 12,500, let's just say, then I think we might be bouncing around for a little bit longer. If we can't hold above 11,000 in the NASDAQ this week, then there might be more damage to be done. As we looked at those long-term charts at the end of last week, of course, tech stocks have a lot of ground to give up, given the last couple of years of outperformance. And so I just like to keep this on everybody's board here. If you are getting into futures and you're trading micro NASDAQ, keep in mind that this is, for this week, a little over 1,000 point range at $2 a point. So more than $2,000 in trading range for that product. And now if we compare that to the small technology here, a very similar futures product that has, a lot of the same stocks, as you can see here, has traded in a similar direction. This is a range of about $46 up to $51, and that's $100 per buck there. So about a quarter of the size of that even micro NASDAQ. And I just put this on people's boards because it's telling for me, Brendan, in a long-term perspective. If we stick in this range, then we're probably going to bounce around for another week or so. We can do it again, of course, next week. But for me to really gain confidence in these risk on markets, we need to bounce back substantially and actually hold that bounce back. We haven't really held any green activity in NASDAQ technology whatever market you want to speak to for more than 24 hours or so, though it's hopefully looking good this morning. But like I say, we're actually giving up some of that ground as we speak, my friend.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the correlation that continues to appear here. But as you said, I mean, even if we end the week somewhere in the middle, 11,100 up to, the top end of the range, still maybe a constructive type move going forward. I threw up the Bitcoin chart there so we can get, kind of an idea of where, to anticipate a move possibly in Bitcoin as well going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a similar calculation for this Bitcoin market, and it's even cleaner. This can be a nice, clean set of round numbers for everyone as we hover around 30K. For me, if we're going to make that journey back to 40, 45, and on to 50, and of course, a lot of the people making predictions of 100 from months ago looking quite difficult at these levels, we got to break outside of a short-term range first. And right now, that short-term range is 27 to 33. And this is similar to technology stocks, Brennan, in that there's a lot of ground to the downside if this market can't hold 30 or can't hold 27 in this case. The next shot lower could be the 20 to 25 range here in Bitcoin. I'm not a huge trend trader, but I bring up these ranges, Brennan, just because we've seen a lot of these bounces back get sold into in cryptocurrencies and stocks. And so with that being said, I might be looking to test out some shorts in Bitcoin around 32 or 33 to see if this market will just come back into this range. And then if it breaks it at 33, then this market has more upside and I'll probably cut my losses and move on. And we did speak to, thank you for the plug on the SCCX product, which is got Bitcoin and Ethereum and a bunch of the cryptocurrency stocks, but just a lot smaller of a product. You see a very similar chart to Bitcoin in here, but this is a product down to 12 and a half, 13 bucks. This week's range is just $300 or $400. If you're trading crypto and looking into the futures, a great place to start. But Brennan, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the growing importance of FOMC minutes. This is craziness to me how important this stuff has gotten. I mean, do you remember the last time, obviously the last couple of months here, but prior to that we were dissecting FOMC minutes? People used to not even care when the FOMC was coming out, let alone the minutes, my friend.
Yeah, the environment obviously dramatically different. As we said, Wednesday, the big kind of benchmark as far as macro news events to come this week. I want to touch on rates here a little bit, Frank, but also, as you mentioned, to kick things off here, big move in the US dollar back to the downside this morning. Is there a possibility that what is said on Wednesday could reverse that?
So I'm glad that you bring that up because I haven't connected those two pieces in a while. For rates, I guess we can, kill that bird with one stone here to kick off. We have Wednesday's FOMC, and this is going to directly move rates. This is the minutes. This is a little further dissection of the last meeting. And if you remember, the last meeting did bring some upside in rates in the short term, and then actually a pretty decent reversal from the highs. For me, it is this conversation of we're right now sitting smack dab between 2.5% and 3% in the 10-year yield. I think that there's going to be a nice trade. I'll be probably taking either side of if this FOMC minutes brings 10 years down to 2.5%. I'm probably looking to buy that dip here. If they get up to 3% in these 10-year yields, that's been a great sale a couple of times in the last couple of months. But bring up that US dollar and we can throw to the platform to show that market up to the second, because dollars are getting smoked here to start the week. That's been a real break from rates, Brendan, in the last couple of months when 2-year yields and the Fed was starting to talk up that we're going to hike rates back in March and April. Short-term yields and US dollars were both ascending together. Now that we've gotten this mess of geopolitical risks of, stocks taking it on the chin and fear coming into that market with a rate hiking environment. It hasn't been so simple as rates higher, dollar higher, and vice versa. You're seeing actually rates bouncing back this morning and US dollars giving up a big chunk of the last couple of weeks momentum to the upside. For me, US dollar is really a fear trade. It's been very highly correlated to S&P 500 volatility, the VIX index here. And so you're seeing that stock bounce back leading to some downside in US dollars. I don't think I think we're far removed, Brendan, from US rates higher or US rates lower, and that directly dictating movement in US dollars as central banks across the globe are moving their rates around. I think that you're seeing basically fear up, US dollar up, fear down, US dollar down. And that's been a pretty good short for us the last couple of weeks, with US dollar really giving up a lot of ground the last week and this morning. We'll see where it goes the rest of the week, though.
Yeah, kudos to you on that. You've been banging the table on the short side for USDs for the past few weeks that you've been joining us. We appreciate it. As always, Frank Caberna, Director of Product Content and Creative over at the Small Exchange in Chicago. We appreciate you once again on a Monday.
Thanks, Brendan.
Quick note, guys, on DD, just coming out here. Looks like they've come out with a date for delisting. So June 2nd will be the last day of trade for delist or for DD Global on the NYSE. So that just out for DD. I did note that it was actually higher with some of the other Chinese ADRs this morning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we knew this was coming. It was just a matter of time before we actually got a date for DD. But the reaction was to the downside just now. It actually just broke 150, a decent amount of volume. However, not a ton. And now you can at least move forward understanding exactly what the timeline is going to be. There's still a few others that are, I guess, under pressure, although some of the news relatively positive. I did want to come back over to this CIBO, by the way, which is still CBIO. Check that. Sorry, CBIO, which is still moving pretty heavily. This is not a monkeypox stock. They're making a sale. I think it's like 60 billion or whatnot. There was a big level at 80, 85, and now 95 at the top, right? So been in and out a couple of times, pretty close to flat, and then looking to see if we can catch the top. Any penny stock that gets to $1, it's always a pretty psychological level and play off of it. It's worked well the last little bit here, so I am in a short off of this high. The first couple, one was pretty much flat, but the second one took a hit. Now trying to get it back off this dollar level on CBIO. So it's not just monkeypox names that are making some moves in the small cap space. And I did mention 10%, and I was rightfully corrected that GovX is a $2 stock, so it would have to actually move 20% to hold.
Yeah, we're doing the same thing here. Well, we're hitting it right now. SIGA, there it is. Yeah, we got this move. Oh, we got the. You can see the VOVES right there in that view.
It's almost like you do it on purpose.
Yeah. It's too early to worry about champagne right now. Okay, so there it is right there. We took out another piece. Obviously, I sat down here. I wanted to go long off 14. It came back into 14. So we got long initially at 30 there, out at 55, out there at 65. I posted during Frank's segment the whole time. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls Media for posting that as well, that he caught my tweet. I've been tweeting about this for a little bit here. And there it is. So we're only out of 40%. I don't know where this thing goes. My next out is going to be around here, 1530, 1540, something like that. And then we'll see about taking out the highs there for SIGA. And then, 13's just sort of where we had some consolidation there. I don't, our charts actually turn off at 4:30 and then turn back on in the AM. I only look from 7 o'clock, but you did have a few levels here on SIGA. Someone was asking, I think it was Mike, asking, sort of where did I get that level from? And it's not really anything. It's just, into 13 was right here. 7 o'clock 7 o'clock this morning was all the way up here. But this is Friday's level of just sort of 13 where we sort of consolidated, bounced around a little bit. So I'm going to look at that one. There was still decent volume left on Friday afternoon. So we bounced around 13. So that's all. So you can use that sort of as a level. When stocks kind of go parabolic, kind of like this has been doing, obviously, over the last couple days, $7 up to 17. There's really going to be no levels that are in here, but there's 13 right there. So we're going to use 13 as our out. I mean, right now we're in the money, 32 cents, and it's, you know, we're already out. We're going to average back in, and the worst case scenario, we're going to dump it off here at 13. So for me, it's going to be well worth the risk. We are looking for some 15s and 16s here on SIGA. That's where my next offer is. And then, yeah, Frank was talking about US dollar, crypto. I like that SCCX tool that he was talking about there as well. So, yeah, I think it's worth dipping some into crypto if you're not in already. But hey, I mean, to sit here and recommend getting into Bitcoin or any of those names is really just your own sort of tolerance of risk, right? And what you believe in this space. I can't fault anybody for loving crypto, and I can't also, on the other way around, fault anybody for not wanting to get into it right now, or ever. So there's some back and forth with that. But one thing that's for certain is every single day we get upgrades and downgrades, and they seem to matter in this market. So let's go over there and have a quick look. The one on the top right, to me, should never be downgraded, but we've gone over this before.
Lulu. Yeah, top, you're right. Over there. Lulu, HP, CRISPR, Nike to the downside today. Foot Locker on here had a decent move on Friday off earnings. Marathon and Cigna, guys, to the upside.
All right.
Well, I mean, if you're any kind of a retailer, you've been hard pressed to get on that other side of the board. Although, hey man, Foot Locker caught an upgrade today, and sometimes you're beaten up and up. But it's Nike, the other one, because I look at it the other way. Like Foot Locker, I think is in trouble because Nike's going a little more direct to customer, and I think that can be a little bit of a headwind for them. But Nike, this one bears watching. Like we've seen a lot of retailers break down and everything in the consumer space be weak with the R word getting thrown around there. And you look at this double bottom at 105 on Nike that got put in the last couple of weeks. That's the kind of floor that if it goes, and it's going to be pretty obvious on the chart, and Nike doesn't do a ton of volume for a traditional day trading stock, but this 105, it's a monster level. We ran away from it. We just retested it at the bottom last week. Are we going to bounce through it today? We'll see. But I got an alert set for 105 on Nike. Obviously, 100 is the psychological level right beneath it. But when you see something like this, I'm not saying the downgrade takes it lower. And in fact, sometimes that could be a turn. And it works both ways. You got support at 105, but if it goes, watch out below. And don't forget, we got big retail earnings coming this week. Costco's going to be real important.
Yeah, I think Lulu and Nike having basically the same PE is strange to me. I think Lulu should be a little bit higher than them. Just traditionally it has been. And I really like Lululemon here at these levels. It's down 25% in a week, in a month, I guess. 28% this month. Nicely to the downside here has already broken some levels. Some of the damage that's been done in retail, I just think that Lululemon shouldn't have really been dropped down there. There's such a boutique retailer that's not really going anywhere with such a unique product that, I feel like the branding with Lululemon, I really like this name. Again, I think you got to get above this 280 level here that, kind of has some key levels there. But, in this retail destruction, I really like 24 PE. Honestly, I just think it's a name that you can't ignore. I'm already in Nike as well. I don't actually own any Lululemon, but I really like Nike, that story as well. I mean, we first bought this in the, 145-ish, something like that. We were able to get some out, but not all. So now, obviously, Nike coming back in. I mean, we trimmed some of the positions, but where was Nike bouncing off of, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 145. So it was a couple times off here. We bought early down there, was able to get it long, and then we had the 145 there again, upside, and then now, you're stuck at 145. Not a horrible spot to average into. But again, Nike just continues its kind of free fall. Lululemon has a little more, from what I can see anyways, a little bit more support, but still, 100, very, very key level. We're going to look at that. We saw what happened to AMD. It hit 100 and just, kept on going and stopped at 85, 80, I guess, before eventually getting its footing back to 100. So I can see the same thing in Nike here, touching 100, maybe breaking a little bit, then settling back in around 110, 115-ish. So, yeah, I mean, pick up any of these names on weakness for sure. But with Costco still coming through, man, I don't know. What is Mike saying here? Nike is going to smash the next 2 years. Florida is going... Nike is going to smash the next 2 years. Foot Locker is losing shoes from contracts. Nike also has e-commerce on lock. Yeah, look, here it is. I'll put that up there. Thank you, Mike, as well for the super chat. Mike knows a lot about shoes, obviously. Thanks for the, what did he send me? I can't remember what you sent me. The Dunks. Sorry, I have so many. The Dunks and then also the Jordans as well. So thanks, Mike, for that. But I also heard that Posh, I think it was, is is it Poshmark? They're also getting sued by Nike as well. So yeah, StockX, Poshmark, these guys selling fake Nikes on there. So that's not going to work out for anybody. So yeah, I think I like Nike, no doubt about that. When is the Olympics are coming up soon? I guess every 2 years, right? So those are big spots.
Next year, not
But it's winter first. What did we just have? These years have just gone by so crazy. But obviously, Nike's a little bit of a better play for Summer Olympics. Yeah. I would assume. But
we just had the Olympics, didn't we?
Did we? When?
I guess
winter.
20.
We just had the Winter Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Winter or summer? I mean,
Winter.
Nobody knows anything. Okay, so that's my point then. So summer coming up. The next go around could be something for Nike as well. But hey, as you can see, we don't know much.
Really not.
I'm just gonna. Yeah. I can't even think this morning. I'm almost certain it was winter. Let's bring in Arun here. Get a check of the overall market. I mean, a big move up on Friday, as we've been saying, back into the close. Arun, that the area of bear market, so 20% off the highs, obviously important on Friday, around that 84 kind of area, if you will. Is that going to come into play today? If so, what do we do with it?
I mean, they're defending this area well. A lot of activity. You see the program activity on Friday. All that strong buying that you see towards the end. I mean, that's straight up in one direction. That's clearly program activity. So clear defense of that area, all the way down from 3850-ish going on down. There's clear defense there, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that 3800. See if we can actually get past that area and actually get some sell side activity that's willing to hold on. If that's the case, and you see that 3800, you see a low possibly past that, but it's a long ways away, and we're back at an area where we've had a problem here going up north of these 50s, 3950, 3940, 50. That's been a problem ever since we got down here from, what day is this? The 18th. Since that strong move down from the 18th, every time we get into the zone here, it's been a problem. So we've catched sell side activity a couple of times now, and here we are kind of moving back down again after backing off these 3950. So we're going to definitely keep an eye on this area as a potential resistance level. Potentially, and I'm not exactly sold on this area, this specific level yet, but 3965 could be something to watch, depending on how we go past this 50 one more time. If we get above 50 and fail one more time, then I might consider the idea of using that 65 as a potential short location for, I guess, a short against that 65 and see if we can actually make a move down. Flip side is if we were to come down towards this 3900s again, after what Friday did, there's actually some buy side activity, the buy side strength that you can actually find south of 3900. So that could be a decent location to find some bids. So 3900 going down. I've got 3860 as your bottom end level. So if we can find some sort of a reason to find a long south of 3900, there's a long down there, potential shorts if we get a failed breakout through the top. So we got a couple of ideas, and we're going to have to wait for the open to get this market to give us the information that we need to work with. As of right now, yeah, we're up 0.38 on the NASDAQ, 0.8 on the S&P, but it hasn't really done a whole lot. Since I've sat down, it hasn't really moved it too much. So a lot of this is overnight movement. We're just going to wait for the open, see which direction it wants to pick, see what side the buying or selling is going to come from, and from there on out, we can just move on and work with the levels that I mentioned.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. Going to be an interesting day and an interesting week, as we said, for the overall market. If we can start to hold higher, start moving in the right direction here, we'll see what happens. Let's get into everything else you need to know. Coming up this morning, that is the watch list, guys. Grab the link. We'll have it in the chat for you. Absolutely free every morning before we come on at 8:30. I just double checked. It's Paris is the next one, guys, in 24. So next summer, 2 summers. What am I talking about? Yeah, Paris for 2024 for the summer Olympics. Netflix, there was a positive note I just saw, just came out there on Netflix talking about the potential of a ad-based platform for Netflix. So bit of a volume spike there, back to the upside for NFLX. First, though, let's talk about some big tech movers this morning. We're among the most strong heading into the close on Friday. Nothing major as far as news this morning, but Apple and Microsoft looking pretty good here to start.
Yeah, look, I mean, so a lot of Friday's rally at the end of the day was options expiration. I mean, that imbalance came out huge. It was like $4 billion or something ridiculous. So you got a monster move up, and we were caught short a little bit in that move. Actually, and then we made some money back right at the close off the TQQ, if you guys remember. Look at this monster move here. This was a 7 million share print that happened on Apple right at the end of the day for a buy, right? It's green candle there. So you could see what sort of happened there into the close. All of a sudden at 3 o'clock, everything got turned on. They got ramped up there. And I guess that it was just people buying back calls and I guess puts, trying to, capitalize on what the negativity was for the week. Nice move upside there. And I was like, okay, maybe it's all clear now. I like getting those rallies into the close. However, you may not even hold that close right now. So you got to watch out for some of these levels. Apple was really strong into that move, but before, let me just show you what it was doing on the daily before that. Obviously, it was super weak all day, right? And then getting hit. The NASDAQ was down 3 or 4%, rallied to the end of the day, and almost got Apple back to positive there, right? And so what I'm looking for here is if we break this 140, I'm interested in it, but at the same time, the market's fallen back in. To me, the most interesting name, and I don't even have it, I have it on here for 250 long, Microsoft again, but that's still Apple. Come on, charts change. There it is right there. So here's 250 back in here. It's not going to look that great on any sort of charts because we broke through it. But again, a psychological level of 250 to me means something. But then I also wanted to note this level here, 259. Because the NASDAQ's fading in right now, and I don't think we have the all clear sign, I want to short this name if we get back up. Microsoft was really getting beat down. We saw what Apple did when it broke 150 and went down to 133 and still hasn't made its way back. So I just don't see that Microsoft, it could take down this 250 again and then just start to deal with levels lower than that. So that's sort of what I see happening here today is some of these major cap techs trying to rally. And then if they don't, then you're going to, feel bad that you went long like I'll tend to do. So right now, I'm not going to play that. If you can break 259 on Softy, fine. If we do get a dip back into 250, that's another level that I want to look at for Microsoft. And then one more, and then throw it over to Neil quickly. I think Tesla's an interesting name as well, so that's on board. And then I also wrote down AMD, right? I'm a little nervous if we take this down. So again, you've seen AMD just absolutely collapse on Friday, like really bad. And Neil already mentioned that NVIDIA's coming up this week with earnings as well. NVIDIA's been getting downgraded like crazy. This whole sector's been beat down. Like AMD was $100 Friday morning, right? And then it dipped down to 88. Like that's $12. Sure, you get one little blip up there, which was 94 to 96. And then, so that's $2, and then just straight down another 8, like almost in a straight line here, guys. And then just like the way on the way up, it was a straight line on the way up, starting from 89. So what I was trying to look at that I tweeted out was that if 89 can't hold here, then I think we definitely look at 88. So there's some levels that I want to look at here with, the sticky note. We have a few levels on there. You guys can see that. But 89 right there, and this is what I just tweeted out right now, was a little while ago. It was actually 89 break right in the middle here. I'm just a little bit concerned that if we don't hold, this is a 20-minute chart, if we don't hold some of these bottoms, so you wicked down to 88, well, that is right here. That's what happened right in there. So I just don't trust an 89 break right here. So let's wait to see what happens with AMD. I want to punch the short if it starts to cascade to the downside. So a couple ideas there. Microsoft working off 258, 259. The reason why I think that's key is that might be the one that hits early. So getting ready. I already have offers out. 257 to start on the short for Microsoft. I love Softy, but unfortunately today I think it's going to be a short if we can climb into the high 250s.
Yeah, a Microsoft, that's a level we like last week. That's a level, until some of these things break the bottom of the channel, that's what it's all about. But you did put a wick bottom in. We showed that on Coinbase, right? Like, you have that big volume event through the low and then a recovery. So it does set up the chance that 250 is still support. Right, like you didn't really trade down there with a close down below that price. We're able to get back above. So I think it can still be support, but 58 stands out like a sore thumb in big tech. NVIDIA is just, when I sat down, like the market was looking like it was okay, and then NVIDIA just started slowly rolling over here, and it dropped a good $6.5 just this morning, and it was down over 2% at one point. So that's what we sort of came into those earnings thinking, okay, well, they're starting to sell it back off. It also has a wick bottom, but it's a double bottom on NVIDIA that never really got tested, this 156 at the bottom here. If we ever see that price again, I think we're looking to buy a dip off of that. Otherwise, you've got this 175, 176, which stands out like a sore thumb. I'm not sure we get there today. That feels a little bit rich, especially with the relative weakness that NVIDIA has put in. But I'm looking at that mid, call it 156. I mean, forget about 155, 156 to 158. Support for NVIDIA. And if it does look like it's going to fail at 170 off the open, you can't ignore, like if it does make a pop, let's just say, you can't really ignore that psychological level on NVIDIA. But 258, like you said, Microsoft, that for sure. NVIDIA is super, super weak today. And everyone that's asking about VMware, I know there is that.
Yeah, they're trying to buy Broadcom back.
Yeah, Broadcom, and there is some kind of a deal which might be happening. I haven't seen a firm report on anything. Specifically, I think we're gonna.
A firm?
They're a firm report.
Oh.
They're in talks to make a purchase.
Every time we say a firm,
there's no cash. There's no actual deal structure that we've seen or anything along those lines. But we are watching VMware.
Yeah, worth a note, definitely. The deal in this report, anyways, they're talking as much as 222 billion valuation. They're talking about potentially 47.6 billion. They're also saying could be cash and stock. So heads up, guys. Well, a few people talking about VMW. They're up big time as well. Let's go on to Tesla. A decent move down once again on Friday. What a week it was for Tesla on the week side of things, to the downside, obviously. Out this morning, though, saying that they're going to ramp up production to pre-COVID levels in Shanghai, or pre-lockdown levels in Shanghai, by tomorrow, Tuesday, which is a day later than expected. But hey, back to one car every, 30 seconds we saw in that video?
That's what's got me excited here, and that's why I put it on. Tesla was unplugged, but now hopefully coming back through with Shanghai now might mean something. And yeah, that's what, it's here on the sticky note. It's a number 3 name, and it's the 670 level for Tesla. I'm going to smash it. Hopefully we get that opportunity to do that here today. This is actually my number 1 trade to go long off of any sort of a level here. We bounced around this 670 a little bit on Friday, hit it. I mean, there's a bunch of levels. I mean, Tesla's actually been really good to trade off of supports and resistance levels. So we'll see if it wants to hold, just like right here. Look at it holding this 710 a bunch. We were trading it during that time, and then when it broke early on Friday, obviously we talked about the cascading NASDAQ market that just kept on coming through here. But I have a 670 level that I want to look at, and get ready, Lucas, we're going to do something in about a couple seconds. That 670 level right there is something that I look for a long, and then any supports down here, I think it's worth trying 630, 635, and whatnot. But Neil, before you talk a little bit about Tesla, everyone knows that Ms. V's last day was Friday. So yeah, we're sad here, but obviously we're moving on and looking to add to our team. So if there is anybody out there with broadcasting experience that would like to attempt to replace Ms. V and sit beside the amazing Brendan Wickens, there's the address right there, marketing@tradertv.live. Please send in your resume ASAP. Of course, we are located in Toronto, Ontario, so you'd have to either live here or make accommodations and so on and so forth. But I feel like it's a great opportunity. Ms. V obviously had such kind words for all of our team here, and she will be dearly missed. But she was a Tesla trader as well, so pretty much primarily Tesla. So we are really proud of her for all that trading. And if you wanted to get some experience, and you had some broadcasting experience, to us, that's really the most important thing. We'd like to get, acceptable replacement similar to Brendan, right? I think that the more broadcasting experience you have, the better. So send in your resumes ASAP. We are getting some, so that's why I say ASAP before we make that decision.
And you don't have to be a Tesla trader. Obviously, Ms. V did do that, but you don't have to be a Tesla trader. But guess what? We do try to trade Tesla around here, and I think on Friday it was at 720 level, and just allow it to make a decision at that price. And I know I did like the short there, but it didn't. If it had held a bit, I would have been willing to go long off that level, and it certainly would have run into resistance. That's clearly what didn't end up happening. And now I'm simply looking at the 650 in a very similar fashion. I think if you can. If you hold above this price right at the open, and it's actually nicely put in this bottom for you here, and then we can decide that we're going to hold that in that chaos that you get at 930, then I think you've got a launching pad to the upside. I look at that 70 and say, well, I remember 680 was a big level on the way down. So I think there's a bit of a channel that's there between 670 and 680, which makes a breakout a little bit challenging for Tesla because it's going to run right into that 680, which has been a pretty significant level. That's why I'd much rather see if I can structure along in front of a 650 area. That way, if it's holding above and you get a 55, 56 long, I know exactly where I'm wrong. Friday's bottom is gonna be a thing just because it's Friday's low at about 630 and change. After that, I mean, you're probably talking $600 altogether, but it doesn't feel like we're gonna test that. Like you got, like we said, like a high volume wipeout low. If you start holding consolidations higher, usually you get a little bit of a relief rally, and the positive catalyst also works for Tesla in its favor. But remember, like the market can decide whichever way it wants to go. I just know the level I like at 650.
Stay in the EV group here. It's worth noting Rivian as well. There was a note this morning, guys, on the production, more negative talk about challenges coming forward for Rivian. Let's talk about XPeng, though. They reported earnings that were not good. Also provided a forecast on the delivery side that was also to the downside, citing continued supply chain worries. And 31,000 to 34,000 vehicles in Q2. That's down significantly. So, we tried to rally here up to positive territory. It got rejected pretty hard. A little more negativity, or a little more negative talk anyways, around the EV space today.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a very good report, which is weird because the first thing it did, XPeng was actually bounce, oddly enough. So sometimes the stock is just beaten up enough. But I look at this daily chart, and you can sort of see this, like it's got a double bottom. Okay, so if we see $18, I think we understand that might be a support level. But then you look at the tight consolidation, the rejection of the 50 period. I mean, if you want to find something, like look at it hug that 50, and it just bounced away from it on the daily chart. And then you come in and look at the floor that it has the potential to break. And it's more like 22.5, but 22 even has a pretty large gap fill. And then that double bottom, it's a wipeout double bottom at 18. I expect you will have some support down at that price. But XPeng takes out this low, and it's just got room to run. And when we go into territory like that, it's just worth it to have it. If I saw 25, would I short it? Sure. Like if we get a pop that goes right up there into the 50 period, that 25 level, then I would play off of that. But I'd only be a buyer of this. Maybe like a 20 size would make some sense to me because that's right on previous support off that wipeout bottom. Otherwise, the double bottom on the daily. If you really, really like scalping off these types of lows, I just know that usually NIO and XPeng tend to break these types of levels when you have a news catalyst, and we see that at 9:30. So I'm not going to be sticking the nose out in front of 22. The EV maker that I'm looking to try to catch along off the morning, if that 650 can win, is going to be Tesla for me, not XPeng.
All right, I just adding something to the sticky note here, and it was basically NIO. I didn't even realize this. So we traded NIO not great on Friday, again, any long you had in the morning was destroyed. I was actually pretty lucky. Actually, I'm going to take that back. But you traded it well, considering we didn't lose too much on it here on NIO off the open on Friday. But it got faded out. Now that I'm seeing XPEV obviously start to head a little south now, I'm noticing this level, and I didn't even look at NIO before, so we just added it right now to the sticky note, but right into here, 1660. Why isn't that loading? Let's go there. There it is. 1660, 1670 or so into NIO. Like, what's good? And then my line disappeared, okay? Right there. So I like this level into that. So just thinking, hey, if we do get a move up to 1650 or so, let's see if NIO wants to take, this is a 1 day, I wanted the 20-minute, but you could see here 17, we bounced around 18 a couple times, and here's the 20-minute. So let's see what this looks like. Yeah, there's your 1660, and then there's 17. So, you're gonna be running into some resistance up here for NIO if XPEV can't hold this bid. And there goes Sega. What's up, Monkeypox? It's back in the building right now, apparently, as there goes Sega. Nicely done here to the upside as we hold on to this long. Now 50 cents in the money and breaking higher right now. So we're waiting for this right here. I have an offer at 15.25. So, well, it's actually at 24. We'll wait to see if that can come through right now, trying to take this out. So if Sega just touched 15 and bounced back. So we were about couple pennies too shy there. It actually went to 15.10 right there. We're right here at 15.20. So a little bit higher up there for SIGA. The day's starting off well, but yeah, anyways, that NIO, I like this trade upside. Before we go, Brendan, let me just check the imbalance locator because we haven't done that yet. There it is. Let's see what's on here today. Whoa, what is NAT? Probably a nat gas play or something. Let's just wait to see what is that. Oh, Nordic American Tankers, right, okay. They were on there last week as well. So some of these tanker plays can go absolutely insane with all the debt and all that kind of stuff and how they're structured. So watch out for that. There's always a few of those. So that could be a flyer today, and we'll find out if there's news. Roblox sell, Uber sell. Oh, there's NIO right there. NIO is the pronunciation. 124 to the sell side. Ford with a little bit of a bid. Actually, Ford got beat up last week down to $12 on some negative reports as well. GM and Ford both as buys there. So some interesting talk there. But yeah, imbalances don't look too great. But remember, in about 5 minutes, we get the NASDAQ, which tends to give the NASDAQ will bump a little bit, but we never really see too many big names on there. So, all right, back over to you, Brendo.
Yeah, let's go to GameStop, guys. Worth a note here, both GME and AMC kind of active here in the pre-market, but AMC actually doing more volume, even though GameStop unveils its wallet, guys, for crypto, NFTs, anything you want to, digital anyways, you want to put in it. So they've been talking about this since back in these days, going back a few months on that, but officially available for people, the GME wallet.
Yeah, not a lot of volume at all on GameStop, as a matter of fact. I think, look, the reason why AMC's leading in volume is because GameStop's not doing any. That's really what it comes down to, which is a bit surprising. I mean, I guess, look, this has been coming, so I guess it's A, it's baked in, B, AMC's just been a more popular stock recently. I think you got to think about those two things. So if they try to pop this, you think fade off 102.5, and you got support at 90. That's about the only thing I'm looking at for GameStop. AMC, on the other hand, and I know it doesn't have a news catalyst here. Obviously, we're talking about GameStop, and you got significantly more volume and probably a little bit closer to significant levels. That's the other thing that is going to play out here. Like, you've got this 1150 that got put in, which was, pretty solid support all week long, and that's why we're going to pay some attention to it. So whereas GameStop, I'm looking pop fade off 102.5, at least AMC gives you this 1150 area to be a dip buyer. And we'll see. It doesn't guarantee that we're going to trade either one of them, but usually when they're on radar, you want to be paying at least some kind of attention to them. And I was just asked if I had any long levels for a CBIO, and I tried to put in the chat that there's significant levels on CBIO at 75 and 85. The trouble with it here, though, is on the dollar, once something is breaking a dollar, like a penny stock is breaking that dollar range, like it either travels out of here and gets through that 105, and then all of a sudden you catch a bit above with support 98 cents, 99, $1, something like that, and then it can break to 125, something along those lines, and that's your long. But if it fails at $1, it's tricky to want for those levels to come in and be support. I forget the name of the stock we had last week, went from failed $1 and then was trading all the way at 75 cents, right? Like, it just tends to absolutely crater when you fail a price level like $1. That's why I like shorting up at that particular price, because that's some of the best opportunities there. But 75 stands out, 85 does stand out as well. This thing gets to 105, and you really start to have some room to run, guys. This was it didn't make the watch list because it was a bit of a late mover there. It's got a lot of room to run. Like, its last major gap fill was from like $1.70 or so on CBIO. But I'll probably fade 102.05 on GameStop. Look for that 1150 support on AMC.
All right, just looking here at AMC, and the reason why, that's what I wanted to do. I was getting it set up to show you my sticky note right here. So AMC today, we were talking about it here. GME news could help these meme space, right? And so that's it. So 1250 long, test that break, possibly up to 1350. So again, it's like every single time I'm trading AMC, GME's moving, and it seems to be vice versa. It just gets like the blood pumping for some of these guys. So we'll wait to see here. 1250's right into here. So if you look, this is basically 1250. I mean, it's 1250, 1260, but this is the last 4 or 5 days, going back a couple weeks actually. You have have 1250 bottom there on the 9th, bounced up against it the next day, bounced up against it here on the 12th, and then look, bounced before eventually breaking 1250 and heading to 14, and then 1250 was bottoms until we broke back through it. So right now I'm going to say, hey, if we like it as a rally, you can play it both ways here on 1250 for AMC. Either, you think it's going to rally through, and we'll watch. It's still muted today. We'll just see if it goes, but I don't think there's anything wrong with testing that and then just giving it back to 12. I mean, that's what you have right here. So you have $12 back in. If you really want to think of AMC as a bottom, you can sort of look at it the other way around and then look at that 1150. So back in between 1250 and 1150, that's why you got to give this some room back up to 14 if it goes. But hey, I like AMC here, man, and I think it's going to be not just monkeypox for this one. Me and Neil decided that we don't really have a monkey graphic. So that guy, I don't know if that ape has monkeypox or not, but he does have diamonds bigger than his head. And if you are an AMC trader, that's what we all hope to have one day as well. So we'll wait to see here what's going on with AMC. But hey, I like it, a nice little rally, but it was really sick on Friday as everything was. So hey, you either fade it or you bump that 1250. For me, it's going to be try to be a bump through, and then let's look at 13 and let's look at 1350 after that.
All right, let's stay in monkeypox land. GOVX, or the other main one, let's call it, that popped up on Friday on decent volume on that news. 9 million float, that's key. $2 is the pink line up here, a huge level on the daily chart for that. Gets above that. I mean, this is going to be a very headline-driven type of trade regardless, but any kind of reports of additional cases or additional hospitalizations, these things are going to go. So watch $2 for GOVX doing decent volume as well.
Yeah, and there is EBS as well, which that's like a larger cap name that's been making some power moves. Like if you look this up, I know there's a small smallpox stocks that everyone's looking at because they've been running, but EBS here, like they're, I don't know, 13, 14 times earnings, larger company. It's been breaking out as well. So there's other ways to play this. And this one might be worth watching, at least as a little bit of a, not a hedge, but just maybe it'll be a leader. We'll see. This 44, 45, or if it gets up there, the 200 period sort of rest above. I'm just sort of looking to see if that can be an interesting one. GovX, which Brendan mentioned, there was a point this morning where every single time I looked at it make a move, SIGA was going in the other direction. Like SIGA was falling when GovX was ramping. And then when GovX started falling, SIGA started bumping to the upside. So one thing I know I'm not going to do is try to follow these two as if they're going with each other. And I think when I was looking at GovX in the afternoon, that was a bit of a mistake because SIGA would drop and GovX would go up. And I was realizing, hey, the correlation probably not going to be there for us, and we shouldn't pay too much attention to it. I think Brendan quickly mentioned Rivian. I just want to go over. If you go to Friday's high, there's a pretty significant level of 31 if it were to ever get there. If it pops up to 31, you can certainly see resistance. But it's got some serious buy support down at about 26 to 26.5. That's interesting for a dip buy for me on Rivian. I should go ahead because I actually forgot to pay for shorts because I was looking at Tesla and XPeng today. And every day that I think I'm going somewhere else in the EV space, it's like, oh, Rivian sets up for something pretty good. So I don't want to get too far away from that. As I said, the only thing I am in is that CBIO, and the 15 minutes going to be nasty because all I've done is trade a bunch within it. So there you go. Multiple times I had a 95 that worked, then a 95 that didn't, and now shorting literally at that dollar mark as it's trying to roll back over. This is a play about $1 and $1 only, and we'll be watching some NVIDIA and some Tesla at the open. NVIDIA trying to form a bit of a base here.
Yep. Okay, so right now, just as we're getting ready to open here, we didn't have much come through for the NASDAQ here. So CSX, not too much. Oh, there's Qualcomm there with a sell. Actually, I didn't even know it's Qualcomm. I think that just came up right now. So Qualcomm's there. Other than that, there's not too many things to note here. Some of the banks, BAC, Citigroup working today. JP Morgan has their Investor Day, so stay tuned for that one for Investor Day with JP Morgan. So we only have 2 minutes to go. That Tesla, I still like it. I have my order in. I just put it in right now to take out this 670. If we take that out, we'll be interested in that name here for Tesla, taking out 670.
Whoa, what is happening?
In case the market rips, we are waiting here for about a 258 or so here on what was happening on Microsoft.
NVIDIA just dropped $2.
Oh, did it? Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, NVIDIA is what I'm not looking at NVIDIA, but we're looking at AMD here breaking through 80. No, it moved, but like 50 cents. AMD, well, I guess that maybe makes sense because NVIDIA is double the price, right? So watch out for a break here as the market's starting to fade out here. So some of these longs are going to get cracked. We do like the NEO short as well in case that rips up. So we're getting locked and loaded now. Actually don't have a NEO offer, but I like to get something in here, 1630, 1640, just against the 1670 there for NIO.
Yeah, I mean, wow, NVIDIA just continues to be weak, almost down 3% now going into the open. You've made another press down to 162, so we might very quickly, if it's a big move down, we might very quickly test 60 or 156. We'll see what happens. Those are the support levels that we do like. With 1 minute to go, I have checked out of the corner of my eye for everyone who's wondering who might be ringing the bell. I don't think it's too big of a guess as to who that might be. Of course, it's going to be our good friend Tony. But Apple, we didn't talk about Apple just very, very quickly. For Apple, 136, if we do get a bit of a pullback in the market, that was the support level that got broken, destroyed, and then immediately recovered. So if that can hold up, then you have a wipeout bottom on Apple as well. The overall market decided it didn't want to close, the ES decided it didn't want to close in bear territory. So hopefully we can get a bit of a relief rally off of that. Although NVIDIA seems to think otherwise, the way that one's looking on the bid. Tesla 650 certainly in play, and then all your monkeypox stocks. Sega, GovX, moving pretty nicely. Oh, God, I got to stop saying that. I can't even keep a straight face, monkeypox. But big levels starting to come in here. Do not sleep on Softy and Apple. They are the market movers, guys. If we don't catch a bid on those two, it's going to be difficult to move up. Tony is on the bell in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, my friend.
All right, let's see how the NASDAQ goes here. Thank you, Tony, for that one. All right, so it looks like we're going to the south side here. Oh, now we're rebounding, so the NASDAQ, we'll see what's going on. We open up about down 0.4, up 0.4. Now you're 0.3, so let's wait to see where this all goes, man. This is Apple just dancing a little bit. Did Microsoft go back up to the upside? No, it's going to the downside right now. So we're getting ready to see if some of these levels want to crack. But again, we're not into anything major now until we see some levels start to form out. So NASDAQ's trying to move around here. Microsoft's starting to dance. Everything that I'm looking at, Tesla as well. Tesla's cracking 650.
So it immediately went 651, it looks like, on Tesla, and for now is trying to hold that level. So initial move was to the downside. This is where you get that sort of shakeout, and we're trying to decide what it wants to do. I just got hit on the bid of that CBIO, so it looks like that failed $1. It's now down at 93. We'll get more aggressive getting out of that one. But this opening range, right now we got a wick bottom on Tesla. Looks like it has a shot to break to the upside. 162 just held on NVIDIA, so that looks pretty good. We'll be watching that in GovX. GovX just failed at $2 as well. So buckle up. It's going to be a wild one here, but Tesla looks like it's catching a bid. It looks like it's catching a bid here.
Yeah, we're just long right now. We already know our Tesla area that we want. We're going to go long on AMD. AMD just gave us a 91.50 bottom, so we can dance with that here a little bit. Not that I think that the NASDAQ's going up here. I mean, we still have a long ways to go. Let's see if we can't get some more shares at a little bit of a lower side here. Just playing off this 91.50, remember, we don't mind AMD short at all. So, you know, if it does fade out through the 91.50, then that's probably going to be a short take for me at that level. But again, we don't really want to dance too much here as the NASDAQ's starting to fade out one more time. So we know that AMD's been weak, so has NVIDIA. The whole chip sector's been a problem. Okay, AMC, there's the drop that, not that we were waiting for, but here's the drop down in for AMC. So watch out here as we are long right now, 1170 against that 1150.
Yeah, and I did just get into Tesla. We'll see if 650 does hold. Try to let it base out a little bit there. Wow, CBIO starting to really fall. It just got to 90 cents, so we're going to ring the register for that one. It's looking like it's chewing up that dollar level and sort of spitting it out. If we get through 90, I think we could fall 85 and then 75 into the downside. NVIDIA is still trying to catch a bit off of that low. Yeah, this market feels weak, man. I might have been a little bit premature into Tesla, but we know we like the level of 650, so that's going to be the one it has to hold. You're now double bottoming here on NVIDIA in particular, and there is one other one that we wanted to watch, of course, Apple, because you want to see what's happening in the big market. Apple holding the bid as well. Microsoft I'll check back in on, but yeah, it looks like Tesla's going to give it up, man. It's 650 once again, and we cannot seem to break either direction off of this price. It's 650 to like 660, and we're just going back and forth. And right now the market looking overall weak. I didn't check in on UVXY for you guys, but volatility, barcoding, and looking like it's trying to head to the upside. If we do break to the upside here, these longs are going to get cracked.
All right, so we're actually just making that money on the Ape Nation side of things right now. As you can see, AMC is a nice little rip side move up for us right there. There it goes. Yeah, 11.90. Yeah, we're banking right now on AMC, guys. That's a good little move for me here. Upside. We'll also see about AMD, which is now 70 cents in the money as well. So AMC in the money, AMD in the money. Bang right there. We're starting it off right again. It's Monday and we're starting. There's AMD 70 cents right there. 93.50 in, in 92.70, out 93.50. There it goes to the upside, and here goes AMC trying, man. We just got out 11.90. Let's see if AMC can get up to 12 and change, and then we'll cash that out. Your monkeypox stock, everybody, Sega, just continues to go down. We're going to use 13 as our out. So here comes Sega back down in. We don't have, too much invested in this kind of a name right there, but there goes Tesla.
Tesla just broke 650,
and we missed the short.
It's headed down. You couldn't get it. It went to 48. It triggers out of the long, no problem.
Yeah.
But getting that short, I'm telling you, man, it's getting those breakdown trades. You've just got to cross further to be sure. And moving in the other direction, Sega went down. And GovX is still going up. At some point, this stock doesn't make any sense to me, but it just cracked 225, which is a psychological level in GovX.
Tesla, come on.
But yeah, I know that's a ridiculous one, man. It's so easy to get out of the long, but I'm telling you, that reversal short, it was like 250 on Softy. Some of those are hard to get. GovX, looking like it's trying to break 225 here, has a wick top through that level. Looks like we're going to try the short side of the trade. I mean, everything else, Sega's coming back in. GovX is still trying to make its little bit of a breakout, but at some point, it's got to follow.
Yeah, I mean, these are all starting to come in. We have 13 as a level here. We're not going to be averaging into this one. Either it breaks or it doesn't. Well, we have a 13.20 sitting there. Either it breaks or it doesn't. Yeah, that miss on Tesla was kind of bad, but that's okay. AMD did go to the downside. I mean, it only went to Tesla's back through 650 now, by the way. And AMD is back upside as well, so we should have been averaging into that one. But so far, so good on the AMD trade, guys. We're now 70 cents in the money on that one. Let's have a quick look at Softy. That was another name that we wanted. We also want NIO. So we can look back at that. Softy's not moving. NIO, as we're just going to slow down a little bit here because, we got to make sure that we hit the right. Oh my God, NIO. You want to talk about something that's getting destroyed. NIO to the downside, huge.
Look at Rivian.
Right now. And Rivian, I guess, Neil's talking about as well. I'm going to look at Lucid. What's up with Rivian?
Every time, man. Every time. It's like I'm looking at a different stock, and then Rivian pulls a rollover. So Rivian just fell off an absolute cliff. Immediately headed down to 26.5, which is about the only support I can see for that stock. So once again, rampant weakness over in the EV space there. Tesla is holding that 650 level. I just got into GovX, by the way, for the first time off that wick high. Looks like it's already starting to come back in down to $2 on GovX. So on the way down to that price, want to make sure that we're taking some out because hey, it was super strong in the afternoon, even with Sega coming in. We've seen that stock have some relative strength, and we don't want to have this one get away from us. NVIDIA, strong like a bull. Double bottom at 162 and trying to make its way on a breakout from 165 here. So it needs the market to help it. We're barely positive on the NASDAQ right now, and I'm still seeing volatility creep up, which makes it really troubling for some of these long trades. So I'm just going to stick with the short side of it until we get through some resistance. Brendo?
Banks there briefly, guys, in the pre-market, JP Morgan specifically. They're all strong, though. Look at WFC up 3.5% to start. JPM also rallying, but nice look for bank stocks so far.
Yeah, someone in the chat just made we're not used to big companies being SSR. And Tesla is short sell restricted. So that means you cannot hit the bid. It's the day of, it goes 10% down, and then, of course, the following trading session as well. So Tesla falls into that category today after the move that we saw, which made it difficult to get any breaks. You can get out of your long, but you need an uptick to hit the bid to go short. Something we should have remembered. CBIO makes a bounce off 90 cents. Right back up to that what now looks like a double top, I should say, at about 105. That's where my stop is going to be. I'm just reloading on the one level, so essentially taking the one, it goes through 105, and I'm out of that one. I'm into AMC for the first time off that 1150 level, so let's see if it can actually hold.
All right, and then we're now short. I don't know, again, like I said, I don't know if it's going to be for a long time. We're in the money on AMD, sorry. AMC did fall back in, but I'm looking at Microsoft right now. And again, just trying to use this 255 area that we've kind of bounced off of a little bit. We do have the high. I mean, I'm just going to try to play off this high now. I don't know where the NASDAQ's going to go, but we are below the 50 period, and we're starting to trend a little bit lower here. So even though Microsoft's now ripping up against me, I'm going to just try to, this is what happens off the open, man. You got to sort of play it. Your cards tight here a little bit, so we'll do that. We'll get out if it takes out just a little north of 255 here, but it's starting to get going as the NASDAQ wants to go again. So that's fine with me, but we're into this short, break at 255 and we're out on softy. Just another idea that we have, and let's just see if it comes into fruition here and actually pays out a little bit. But 255 breaker on Microsoft, and we got to get out. So a little bit higher than that, and we'll get out of this one. We're just testing the short. We wanted it a little bit higher. We're getting a little impatient here, that's for sure, but we're going to wait to see where this goes, as it looks like it wants 255 sooner rather than later here on softy.
Yeah, and I'm not looking at softy. 58 is pretty much the only level I like, but I'm starting to come down on NVIDIA. The way that we're getting a break to the upside on UVXY, it just broke 16 even, which means, I mean, I just got the support long on AMC, but it looks like some of these are going to start to get cracked, and we got resistance on NVIDIA now at a $1.65, sorry, $165, which does put it in for a little bit of a short. 162 has to go, however. It's now a double bottom, and that sets up for a breakdown. As long as UVXY is breaking out, and that's going to be the indicator. I would have much liked to be shorting this one off of a 170 level, but if we're going to break down here, this is not SSR. I don't really have to worry about that on NVIDIA, but it's 160, it's 162 that has to crack, and it's 162 that I'm going to take for the break.
All right. Yeah, so we just got out, and unfortunately we flushed down our apes here because we got long and we just gave everything back. So it's actually a flat trade for me, but still sucks. They're on AMC. This is what I'm saying. We get 70s, out 90s, and the rest out 50s. So it's like 20 cents there, a little bit there. So we're actually net negative on AMC. But again, you can always ask if positive or negative, but net negative now on AMC. Didn't get enough out on the high side there as it's falling back in. So we tried to play off GME. Let me just check what GME is doing anyways here. As you can see, probably falling would be my guess. Yeah, I got it, Brendan, 1 second here. Actually, GME is not doing a whole heck of a lot. Well, actually, that's the 1 day. Let me just go before I see. Yeah, so there's GME coming back in. All right, Brendan's got something.
CNCE keeps popping up on volume here. This is not a monkeypox stock, but they had a positive FDA ruling on a skin treatment that they were working on. So heads up on this one, up 12%, guys, at $5 here for CNCE.
Oh, there's going to be a few of those ones. NVIDIA just touched that bottom, so we are now into NVIDIA, into the south side of the trade. And again, got to give this one a little bit of room. But it's this break that we're seeing happen on UVXY. I'm going to start trading this. When we started trading it last week, I didn't take any longs. But if we get a hold of this 15.75 to 15.8, then I like a long off of UVXY here just to play volatility a little bit to the upside. Tesla's still trying to make a bottom, by the way. I mean, it's trying anyways, but that's 640. And if it comes back into the upside, watch for that 650 to possibly turn into a little bit of a resistance level for Tesla. I'm still in AMC, so must have actually held that general area. Yeah, that 1150 looks like it held that area. If it gets back to 12, definitely have to take some profits.
Yeah, we got back into AMC, so now we're in the money, another 10 cents. So we're going to turn this red day into a green day here on AMC. So here it goes. It's trying it one more time here. Oh, Microsoft took it. Oh, okay. Microsoft took it out right there. So we do have a little small piece left. But look at the NASDAQ now starting to just go nuts here to the upside. So, we didn't get out of everything, but we'll get out now of Microsoft. We do have AMD $1.20 in the money. So again, we got a little piece out of AMD too. Oh, darn it. But we still have this going upside. It did touch that 91.50 and broke back upside right now. So there we go. Apple also taking out that 140. So we've switched to longs here, as you can see. AMC with a beautiful long backside right now. So we're back into the AMC long at 56. So there's another 20 pennies to go there. AMD rocking. Microsoft we got taken out of. That's fine. And here goes Apple. Just looked at that level. Now, will it hit, fade out? Looks like it's trying to do that. But we're in this, not a big position. We're in the small one here. We're going to see what happens now with Apple, as that just took out the high side there. So, wow, Microsoft really got going there pretty quickly to the upside. So I think these tech names definitely have some bids underneath them. We just got to get longer on them. So we'll look to do that. AMD, though, a nice little $1.50 in the money. That's working out for us. Sega's really done nothing. Actually went back into the money for me there, and I didn't take it out. But let's see. Now it's back down to 13. Watch out. Here comes the break level on SIGA. Oh, man, we averaged in and then it went in. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, what's up, Brandon?
A bit of a flush there for Meta. Facebook, guys. Washington, D.C. Attorney General suing Facebook parent and Meta's CEO Zuckerberg over more Cambridge Analytica stuff. So heads up on FB.
All right.
Uh-oh, Facebook again? Wow. That's ugly. I just got some AMC out here, just resisted off of VWAP, guys, and pulling back in. I'm on the bid about 5 or 6 cents away on UVXY and a bit of a pullback. And Tesla's now screaming back into the upside. So V-shaped bottom, of course, on Tesla. That does mean that Rivian, oh, give me a break, Rivian. Right off of that level that we just talked about, doesn't want to load here. So Rivian, right off that level we were talking about, has found a little bit of support. Also XPeng, which is the other EV name. Oh, give me a break. This is going to freeze on me.
Oh, no.
You got to take it, sorry.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. I was just looking here. Apple just touched 140.40, so we'll put an offer there to take 40 cents on this play, just to get out of a little bit. If this is going to be a long day, we do want to be long Apple as much as we possibly can be there. There goes SIGA, so unfortunately, that bubble popped there on SIGA. So a little bit of profit early and then no profit late. So now it's coming back down to the downside. So we're just going to stick with some of these big caps here as they continue to work. Apple to the upside. AMD now $1.70 in the money. We did well to get out of our AMC, not most of it. We're actually still in 60%, but look at that. Right up to VWAP. We got some 75s, some 78s there. So like I said, what was once a negative stock now turns that around to get some positivity going through it. Microsoft, oh man, that sucks because like I'm normally long that name. We tested it short early thinking that it was weak and then there's the out. So we took some profit, but obviously it's a red stock for us here as that's starting to go up to the high side right now. Just checking a 20-minute chart. What is that? That's 258. So yeah, that was like, these were the levels that I really wanted to get short. But hey, this market back up to not days high, but the pre-market high right there, trying to take that out just before we went on the air. So we're going to watch out for 12,000. That's the top upside. What's up, Brendo?
A couple things. EA, remember, popped up on Friday on some M&A rumors that were floating around. Big volume so far this morning on EA. Also, TTWO just made a pop there back towards where it was on Friday. They finalized the Zynga deal, ZYNG. That was Friday at the close, guys.
And of course, Zynga is the one we saw with the big imbalance to the sell side because, of course, the deal closing. I was trying to show you guys Rivian catching that bid off of 26.5. It just made that monster bounce back to the upside, about $1 or so. It's established the level. Tesla's reestablishing 650. So if I liked the level before, I'm going to like it again. If we can take a shot off of it there, just watching UVXY, still holding $16, right? So as long as we hold above that price, obviously it's going to be a bit of a damper, I think, on some of the breakouts. But we are now back below that 16. I'm going to pop on the bid here in Rivian just in case we get a pullback and I can play off of that 26.5 level. But it's all about Tesla, and we're going to try to get back at that one to the long side after missing out, right? Like we tried the long, it took the stop. Now we've reestablished that price level.
Yeah, we're going for Tesla as well, obviously, if it takes down that 670 level. So we're going to, hopefully we can get some shares this time, which I'm sure we are. But
well, long you can get it. No problem.
Yeah, we didn't. We had that SSR, so we had to wait for it on Tesla the first time. But we're coming up to that 670 that I like right here. So, whoops, that's not the right chart. This is the right one. Oops, nope, that's the wrong one. That's the daily chart. Where's my minute chart for Tesla? Just to show you guys, there it is here. So if we can zoom back out, and then there it is, 670 coming into play right here. That's kind of the level that we've liked from Friday. So if that can hit, that's all good. So we'll wait to see if Tesla can give us some 670 longs on that one. Yeah, so SIGA, we're out. We can check that back in what's going on now. So same price basically we got out of on SIGA as that broke 13, and we said enough was enough on that one. AMD still unfortunately we got out of a little bit there. Thank God it wasn't everything for sure. As right now, yeah, we're taking out the highs right here on AMD as that still wants to keep going. So hey, if this market's going to get aggressive today, it looks like the name you want to be in is Advanced Micro Devices right now, taking out this high. So I think we're getting ready to go long here through 93.80. Let's do that. Let's get some more long into AMD right now as that's definitely strong. So we'll buy some here, 88s or so. We just took that in, so I think we got 85, 86. So let's see where that goes as right now Apple as well, 50, 60, 70 cents in the money on AAPL, and Tesla's getting ready to go. So watch out for that 670.
Apparently we got a super chat about BBIG, Vinco Ventures here from Michael. What is it saying? 400% rate cost to borrow on the short side today. Could see it through 3. I'm seeing it spike. I haven't checked on what the borrows cost for us in particular, but $3 was a huge level on Friday. So yeah, that's an important one. I just got UVXY as that pulled back in. So obviously you are seeing a volatility start to come back down. But yeah, 3 is a big level. I haven't checked to see what the cost of borrows are on our end. I'll go ahead and do that in a quick little second there when things try to settle down. But I am trying to catch a bid back on Tesla here at 660s. But Vinco Ventures, $3 looks good. No idea what it costs.
All right. What else is looking good right now is everything except for Microsoft because, yeah, that stock was our negative stock today as we go. But here goes AMD. Oh, man, we just turned that around right there. We're 70 cents in the money on AMD, but we do have an offer there at 25, and it stopped at 22. So let's see if that can get going. And there goes one of our biggest trades here, Apple. We talked about that. It's the #1 name here on the sticky note today. So if you guys are watching, this is what it is, man. Look at this. Long break, 140. Long break, 140. The #1 name on the sticky note. So we'll celebrate that as that is now $1 in the money, Brendo.
June 2nd, remember, guys, I saw a couple of people talking about DD Global. Actually up nicely on that delisting note. June 2nd will be the last day on the NYSE for DIDI.
Yeah.
So I can tell you guys it's pretty cheap for us to borrow Vinker Ventures. It's like 2 cents per share. For a $3 stock, I guess that's a little bit expensive, but that's actually pretty cheap. So I'm not really seeing any crazy borrow prices. AMC just tried to get to $12 here. You can see it really start to pull back in. I still like that support at $11.50. Looks like it's going to try and hold pretty nicely there. Yeah, I had offers at 95, but I'm going to pair them back into the mid 80s or so, and then see if we can't get somewhere out there. Like I said, Tesla, I want in front of that 650. I didn't chase too much in front the first time. 55s, 52s, trying to get a pretty good price in front of what has reestablished. Like I said, that 650 price area. And on tap, 12,000 in the NASDAQ, now within spitting distance. The ES looking to try to take out Friday's high. Well, if you look at Friday, 39.5, it's trying to take that level out. So, the break, until we get through that, like some of these longs still have a chance, to consolidate before we actually get a breakout in the market. So 12,000, eyeball that one. I'd rather be long before that does happen, but I do want it close to that 650 area. UVXY could fall into some trouble on the long side in case we do get that breakout, but it looks to me like 1550 is pretty solid support there.
All right, so yeah, I'm just trying to work with the same names here that we've always been working with. We did get something out there on AMC. We got an 83 or 82 that we just put in there. So we did get dumped off there for sure. We talked about it being negative, and then we run it back to the upside. Now we're positive here on AMC, so that's going to be a good trade for us. And if it takes out 12, then giddy up, obviously, to the upside. We just talked about that. AMD, I mean, how many times is it going to bounce off this 94? Like, probably way too many. So let's go, man. I'm in the teens here. I'm just going to get some out right now. There it is. So we'll get that out at 94 right there. We got a 93, 98 there. So that was a good trade. Now you're starting to bust higher now. So go AMD. It doesn't look like we're in the money too great here because we just took that long. But again, part of it was that average. So now we'll see where it goes from here. Hopefully more upside. If AMD comes back to 93, that's where we want to load up again. So that's what I'm waiting for is a 93 load up there on AMD. But, I was looking at Tesla there. It's still bouncing off that 670. That's a level. Let's go over to NIO quickly here, as that's been a name that we wanted. Short, obviously, wow, it bounced up. Wow, I mean, that seems to be pretty low down there, 15. Yeah, that's even lower than Friday, I was going to say. 15 flat there happened on NIO. Wow, that's low. I was not expecting that. Let's see what happens now as it's bouncing off the 50 period. NIO might be just an absolutely great short there at 16. But we'll look at that a little more when we get back from Brendo.
You mentioned the investor event for JP Morgan, guys. At said event, they have raised their full year net interest income outlook. So just saw some more volume at day highs there for JPM.
Yeah, I knew it was Investor Day, but yeah. I mean, that's big news there. JP Morgan looking like it wants to take out 123 right now. I actually really like that level. I mean, that's, hopefully this will load up. There it is, straight move to the upside here. This is a 20-minute chart right now, 123. So you're looking at that right now. That could be an interesting level to get taken out. I think we'll bust long if JP Morgan takes this 123 out. But the high is only 123.50, 124. So watch out for that. Here comes JP Morgan. Always dangerous to trade these names, like when it's Investor Day, because just as they said something positive there.
RDBX is halting.
Yeah, it could be. Which one?
RDBX, red box, is about to halt right about now-ish. Another move for this one. I didn't see any catalyst again. It just feels like, maybe a continuation from what we saw last week in a technical break at 580. Looks like what's probably going to cause this halt on RDBX. Looks volatility halt, 5 minutes, it'll be open back up, and we'll take a quick look at it when it does do that. But yeah, big time break. It actually got through this level here back on, we call it like the 11th? Yeah, the 11th, which was about $596. So pretty big level. It's got a few on the way upside. If you remember, $10 was a huge top for Redbox if it ever does get back there. That's a key price to watch.
Oh man, I wish I would have saw that. Were you trying to get long or not that one? Because
not that. I mean,
like
I
to
didn't
sit
know.
there.
I had no idea why it was running. So
yeah.
I mean, a lot of times we try to take that long on the break, but I didn't jump on that because I hadn't been watching it. I pulled it up and it was already about to halt. Didn't want to chase the top.
Especially if it's the first break, we've noticed that's been pretty good. Okay, there it is. So we'll take out one more out there. We'll go boom. Because although we screwed up Microsoft because we were short, I don't know if that's screwing it up or not. Our idea was short, it didn't work. But our idea for long was Apple, and that worked out really well. So now we only have 20% left as we've just taken out the majority, obviously, here. Most of them were out of the 70, 80, and then 40, 41. The reason why, again, is because, you know, we've run into this 41, 42 level a couple times, and every time it sort of came back in here. And not every time, it's just been the last 2 days, and then back into here where we resisted it. So, you know, it's been a good trade through 140, but again, you know, these names can fade out pretty hard. So, especially with the NASDAQ pulling back in, it's a good opportunity to get longer. So we'll probably do that at 140 if it does come in again for Apple. But I mean, I'm almost thinking that AMD, and I know you had NVIDIA, and I know that was a tough one, and so has AMD been pretty tough. But it's a positive stock for us. We're actually doing pretty good on AMD. But now it's come back in, and we're going to wait to see here. 141. Well, now that AMD's come back in, it's not so positive. I was looking at that Apple 140. Yeah, let's test Apple 140 one more time, and then if it takes that out, then we can, let's wait for Apple to fall back in. The main number that I'm looking at here is going to be AMD, as AMD coming back into 93. It takes down 93 again. We got wicked out there, which is fine. It wasn't that many shares because I actually didn't realize we rebought it there. But now we're going to have to respect this 93 level as these futures are testing the 50 period. And it just bounced off that number one more time, Neil, 12,000. So the NASDAQ definitely resisting those high sides there. So yeah, get ready to rock and roll. We had Frank on, was talking about the NASDAQ giving some back. It did make a nice move back up, but here it comes again, rinsing and repeating these lows one more time.
And it was just, I just checked locates for RDBX. That was actually a little bit expensive. It was like almost 10 cents a share, which is, for that stock, you know, being a $6 stock
probably
is relatively expensive. Like I said, I got some UVXY on that last little dip, and it's now starting to run back to the upside. So when we resist that top on the NASDAQ at 12,000, you know, volatility starts to head back into the upside. I'm going to get some out, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I'm going to get some out in front of, you know, the current high, which is 1625, as I look to trade that. And I will still pay for shorts on RDBX. I just might not like it as much as before. CBIO, by the way, that's back down to $1, still above that, I should say. And it's holding this $1 level pretty nicely. It wouldn't do any worse than 90 cents. If it puts a base from there, it should be going to 125. If it doesn't break $1 on this little pullback, I think we have 125 in the future. Brendan?
Just checking on CVX. Oil actually not doing much. It is positive on the day, but big move here for Chevron, up about 2%, guys. Just took out day highs. So heads up on that. Also want to mention PayPal. There was a note on PayPal. It's not doing much either, but they said, quote unquote, they're going to explore anything and everything related to cryptocurrencies. So whatever that means.
I mean, a couple of years ago, that might have been monstrous. Let's have a quick look at PayPal. So AMD, guys, again, it's coming right back in. We have the 50 period at 92.80 or so. Sorry, 92.95. We'll let that go a little bit longer than that, but not much, man. So right now, AMD in a little bit of trouble off a long right there. There it is. So now we've averaged into this name. So we have AMD right now. I just got to make sure I have my stop order ready to go. We do. 92.80 break or so on. So here it comes right now. The market just cracked lower now. So now we got to try to probably look for some longs, some shorts to get into, as this has just been a little bit like back and there we go. No, we're going to get out of this. No, there we go. We got out of some AMD. That sucks. Like this market, definitely not. Oh, and there goes Microsoft, as if it goes right to 258 and turns around short. Now it's huge in the money. On the sticky note, we had written down 258. Give me a break. It goes to 258. Now it's down to 257. So messed up on that one. AMD continues to make a move downside here.
I barely got, so when it broke 258 on Friday, it got up there like 60 cents higher to like 65 or something like that. So I was kind of thinking it would get 25, 30 on Microsoft. And if it comes back, that's the resistance level. So we're going to have to play off of it. I just thought we'd travel a little bit deeper, but it went like 9 cents, 9 cents only. RDBX just opened back up. Looks like, yeah, I mean, pretty much flat. These all open up pretty much flat, right? So 650 current high on RDBX. If it gets back below this halt price at 630, then you could have had maybe a failure with a 650 stop. But it looks like it's trying to make a secondary breakthrough at that 650 level. I always let it settle in this range. If it catches a bid above 650, you can have a long. If it catches an offer below that 630 price, then it sort of is obvious to sort of go for in the short side of the trade, which it looks like it's doing here. Did I get it? Yeah, I just got some 08s. See if I can't catch some in the 20s. The stop for me is always, guys. Like if you want to give it a few shekels past 630, I think 650 makes some sense here. But RDBX making its power moves after one halt to the upside. Only one halt so far.
Man, this is coming to the downside right now, pretty decently. What's up, Trader Pratt is in the building. Okay, yeah, how'd you like that FanDuel bet there, Trader Pratt? Let's go, baby. Okay, no, just the Warriors. Okay, so here it comes down. Apple, we got out there once it broke through 140. So, you know, good trade for us, but unfortunately, the bang is not a boom, as it could have been, you know, a lot bigger there if it went, but that's okay. We had that 140. It's really just embarrassing to me that Microsoft touches that 258, but the thing about it is, it's actually holding up pretty good right now. So I don't really know what's up with that. Microsoft holding up well into a moving down NASDAQ name there, so we're gonna have to watch out for that to the downside. Now Microsoft just resisting that 258 as the market looks like it wants to go red one more time here. Yuck on that one. We're now loaded up on AMD shorts one more time here. So, hey, not one more time. We were long the first time, but we'll see if we can seek some revenge on the short here for AMD. Let's see what this market has to do. And right now, there's no one better to review this than Brendan over at the big screen with happening now. Let's go.
Hey guys, yeah, we are still green, but I'll show you here. Yeah, there it is. 0.1, 0.13 for the composite and the 100 for the NASDAQ, lagging big time. Everything else nicely positive. The S&P 0.7, more than a full percent for the Dow still. Russell even showing decent strength, but tech stocks definitely on the weak side to start things off so far this morning. A couple of things to mention here. They're fading this gap on VMW, but it's a bit of a slow grind so far. A couple of dollars to the downside, but huge move for VMW on that Broadcom. Rumors, again, nothing done, no deal announced or anything like that. It was just a story. 6% for XPeng got flushed after they tried to get it positive on the earnings report, but day lows basically for XPEV as well. Back over to you guys.
Thank you, Brendan. We'll do one of these ones for chewing it up in that RDBX. I want to show you the 15 here because it looks like it tried to take out this high at 670. I got out when we broke that 650 area, and now you're seeing it try to hold this level. So it has to catch a bid above 670. It looks like it still might be worth it for me to jump back into this trade because it has rejected that price area in the higher time frame. And there's about $1 worth of room if it does test back into the upside. So I am going to, as usual, if you get a false break, I just got us some UVXY, so I guess I must have hit a profit target to the upside there. But I'm going to get back in front of this 670 level, just looking at this 15-minute chart. When in doubt, zoom out. We had our stop in place off the halt trade, but you zoom out and say room from here all the way up to about 770, which is about $1, which means I want to be on the other side of that trade unless it breaks that price. UVXY we just mentioned. And it's weird. Like sometimes it's felt like trading the directional trade has been a little bit easier if you play off volatility, which just made the break, and the market heading back into the downside. It's like the shorts we tried to put on didn't work in NVIDIA, but the long in UVXY works. So it looks like that's going to be almost my preferred way of going about things, I think, in this kind of a market environment. If we look at what just happened to AMC there, we just had a long in this name. Give me a break, chart. Don't do it to me. We just had a long on AMC, which was working pretty nicely. Yeah, it's going to freeze on me. It's not going to work. Forget about it. Which was working rather nicely. It's now starting to come back in, and almost everything is now failing right back to those lows. You got Tesla back below 650. I'm done with sort of playing inside and diddling in the middle of this range. Let's forget about that. If it takes out that low, it still has the bottom of 630 to contend with that we saw on Friday. Of course, that upside still in the pocket of that 670 area. So you're seeing back and forth action and almost just wiping everybody back and forth and stopping out top and bottom. So we want to make sure we're breaking out of the range. I'd rather just hold on to UVXY and see if that continues to break out. Because at least I know there's $1 worth of upside on that, Brendo.
Firm got smoked there, guys, off of day highs. 25.5 tested their pre-market highs. JP Morgan just saying they're going to offer buy now, pay later services for debit card customers, so current debit card customers. So Affirm to the downside on that.
Yeah, Affirm, like I was saying, buy now, pay never. Like those guys, honestly, I like the business, but I just think it's the same thing with PayPal and Square, and it's not beating up on Affirm. It's just like these businesses are so easy to replicate. Like Jamie Dimon, and speak of the devil because it's JP Morgan day here, but Jamie Dimon was talking about, one of his biggest mistakes was missing Square at the bottom, right? And then it ripped up, and now Square's a decent valuation to possibly get bought out at, but they don't need to do that. I mean, they can just, you get a developer that knows how to make an app, and then they already have the base for a lot of this. So you're seeing Square right now, like that fintech revolution here is gotten passed by. So I don't think, we must be having a problem. Okay, there you go. Now my daily chart's loading. But yeah, I just feel like, the time when people were all scrambling about fintech, obviously we saw PayPal, we saw Square at last summer's highs, and now you're chopped like literally in 25%, 70% downside, so they're cut in half and more right now, down 70+%, Square, PayPal, all those names, let alone AFRM, which is like the dying quail of them all. But again, these things came with crazy valuations, so they're all getting absolutely beat down. And one name that's getting beat down that your boy is also helping with is AMD, as there it is, another move to the downside. We've actually switched up over into our shorts now, right? So we were trying to support this name upside, it faded out. Now AMD is coming back into the downside, so making a little bit of money here on the short as the NASDAQ is now well below these levels and actually turned red. So we're pretty happy with some of these trades, not all of them. Apple, we didn't max, well, we maxed out pretty good. I'm actually happy with Apple. It's this softy trade that we screwed up on because, again, here on the sticky note, like I say this every day, and Bears versus Bulls, or someone needs to really like shout at me, because here's Microsoft right into here. Well, we had 258 talked about in the pre-market, we sent it out, but right there, 250 long, maybe that comes into play now. So let's not like miss out on that if it does come, but there's the softy 258 that we really love. So hopefully that'll come back into play one more time for us. And by the way, AMD just continues to crack lower. It just hit 91.20 as it's resisting some levels, so we got to be careful here. The NASDAQ's bouncing a little bit here, Neil. I don't know.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit of a bounce. And actually, UVXY just got to 1640, and you'll see it kind of put in a pullback off this pretty random level. I mean, I thought 1650 to 60 would be more resistance for it, but either way, when this pulls back, you tend to catch a little bit of a bounce maybe in the futures, and you find support in the overall market. But that's what I'm using as my gauge. I'm not in anything that's actually going to follow the futures outside of Rivian, but that's off the low of the day right now. So, this is holding that level on the 15, at least for now, off that 26.5. If it doesn't hold this, forget about it. We'll get the heck out of Dodge. But Rivian, that was the only place we liked it long, was trying to find support off 26.50. It's here right now. Brendan?
More retail earnings to come this week, as we said, guys. This one included in that, but they're all very weak so far today. 2% here for Macy's, guys, but the whole group under pressure.
Yeah, I'm just going to test 100 shares. Can we go short Affirm yet or no?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can. Okay, we don't have to worry about it. Okay.
That's always, yeah.
Yeah, that's always been free. Okay. All right, so Affirm's been good so far then. Watch out for that break of the bottom of the day there, 23.80. I just want to see if that tests one more time. Obviously, it's catching a bid here, so good for Affirm. It seems like to have sort of, I don't know, hopefully bounced off that news for Affirm shareholders. I was going to look short just in case that was getting worse and worse for them. But what did JP Morgan do on that news? If it's through 123, I'll be pissed. No, it's not. Okay, good. So we remember the upside there was only like about $1, which is why we were like looking at it. I didn't even put the order in because I was questioning it. So maybe that 123 should have been a short, as now JP Morgan just bounced off the 50 period of 121 clean. So I'm not going to trade it. It is Investor Day, but it's just interesting to me to see. And then Eli Lilly is back up near its 52-week highs one more time of 315. So this is one of the names that I've been buying as well recently. That's starting to go upside. So looking for, I don't think we get to 310, but this is another strong name here looking at 303, and that's right where we're at right here. So Eli Lilly looking to break higher as well right now off of a great name. Some of these names in the space have just been on fire. AbbVie's another one that I really like.
Yeah, I'm gonna start to get the heck out of Dodge on this Rivian trade. Look how weak the stock is overall. You can like a level all you want, but that doesn't look like a strong stock to me. And on the 15-minute, it's great. You had that nice bottom of 26.5, but into VWAP here, we're just going to take the scalp trade. If you're able to catch like 30, 40 cents, just look how I mean, I don't want to say garbage, but look how weak that is overall. And the other side of that trade is here's what the NASDAQ looks like right now. If you're liking some of the longs, you just had a wick top through the opening range that failed right when it got to 12,000, and then we broke the low. Like, that's a pretty bearish move to the downside. So, I mean, catching a Rivian sword is not high on my list. I like the level. That's what we waited for it to come in, but it's not high on my list. Holding on to UVXY, which, quite frankly, it's a weird thing to say, but like I haven't traded. Well, this chart still crashed. Sorry, guys. My daily's still gone. Sorry to say, but the last 3 days, it's been pretty good. This is the first day I've gone long volatility. The last couple times it was a short, but the level held on that breakout price from the morning, and now it's just a matter of how far do we go. And it's not a hedge trade, per se. It's just overall direction. I found it a little bit easier to trade than when I look at the futures or something like that. So I think there's a little something there for me. RDBX is trying to break 6 even, but there's a bigger battle going on CBIO. So $1, and there's not a huge size on $1, but you'll sort of see here, that is $1, which is holding. It's not a lot of a bid, but trust me when I tell you, there's buyers down there galore at O's, 1s, and 2s as they try to hold this stock to the upside, which does set it up for a potential break. That RDBX is now starting to roll over a little bit here, guys. So it just filled me at $6, starting to head back in. Remember, we lost in the first short, so we're just trying to make it back. But I had a failure at the 15-minute level. The first trade was off the halt price. The second one off of that level on the 15, that 670 area. But Rivian, I don't know if we're going to get a hold on this one for much longer. The market cracking to another level down.
Yeah, the market. Yeah, I mean that's.
And I'm gonna
I'm only short. Like I'm not short enough.
I hate you.
I'm $1 in the money now on AMD to the short side as we reverse it. I was the same issues as Neil there. I think where we went long, and then that was where you lost, right? Same as me on AMD. And then it came back in, and we were able to get a short. So that's really what's printing right now on AMD. So we'll have to wait to see where that goes. And it just touched again down here 91.40. I'm gonna put a bid at 91.40. Just you know what? Like if we wind up getting some out there and it winds up tanking more, that's fine. We're in the money $1, so we got to take some profit here before it retraces back up. And I was just about to talk about Microsoft doing a dance at this 255 one more time, man. I like the long, but I also like the short on this name. Like right now, the market's just not doing much. You might think like, oh, big move up, big move down, but that just jiggled me out of a bunch of things. So that's why it's like I'm not super excited about what's happening right now. And if anything, we're bouncing off some levels here on the NASDAQ, but I don't trust it. So that's why I'm kind of like, what do I wind up doing here on that? But Microsoft, 255.50 could be a good break long. I mean, this 256 might be also real nice. So that's something to look out for right there. So we're going to wait to see that 255, 256 take. Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't mind that for a break long, 256. I think we could do that, but the thing about Microsoft is still up 1% when the NASDAQ is down. So, yeah, if the NASDAQ gets going, but I don't think we're at a going level here, then I like that. I'm going to try that break, actually. I'm going to try a 256 break on Microsoft, okay? So that breaks higher. We're going to go long on that. If not, then we're just going to see about getting out some more here on our AMD short. So Microsoft break of 256 I like. I don't know if there's any other names you guys want me to look at. I'm not going to... Rost. What's up with that? That was on Friday, right?
It's making some moves here, and come on, give me a break. Rost actually up to 77. It looks like. And remember this one. Of course, they're another retailer that got destroyed in Ross stores, and we're trading this one to the short side actually on Friday off the 75 level. So if what I look to see happening, what I think is happening is simply. It's not a dead cat bounce, but a big gap down, and then it's breaking resistance from Friday at 74, 75, and then sort of casually squeezing to the upside, if you even want to call that casually. 78 is a bit of a level on Ross, so if it gets there, I think that's your chance for either profit taking if you're long, or maybe the first rollover if it wants to pull back. But that's one that we've literally never traded it outside of earnings, and probably should have put it back on the radar because that's a pretty good consolidation long break. But yeah, it's jailbreak to the upside for that retailer, despite the fact the market is weak. It was down, like at one point $28 on Friday. So I think it's just catching a bit of a dead cat bounce.
All right. Oh man. I'm trying to go long. So now there's something much more wrong with me right now than normally, because like I'm trying to go long Microsoft through 256, which is almost here, and then at the same time I really like an AMD short into this level as well, because AMD's been weak versus Microsoft's been strong. But here we go. I've made my decision right now as we'll go long on Softy right here and see how far this name. We'll take a piece out there in the 20s as it's starting to go. I'm going to give this one back to 255.50 or so just to see where we go. Let's just test the Microsoft long, as we just took 10 times the shares long Microsoft than we had on AMD. So just to give you a little bit of an idea. So we are rolling now with Softy to the upside. The AMD position, again, because we were able to get some out, we didn't have that much left, so we kind of put on a full position there for Microsoft. This could fail, obviously. That's why we took out, honestly, a third right there at 30s when it ripped up right into that level.
What the heck just happened to GovX?
Something just happened to GovX. What's up, Brendan?
So the EU Health Ministry, I just threw it in the chat there, guys. So they were saying the expectation of this being a widespread event, again, this is coming from the EU, is very low. So it would appear that moved down on GOVX. Coming on that again, the EU Health Ministry saying that the expectation of this becoming a widespread event is very low.
Yeah, well.
Oh my God, I just tried to get everything I could on GovX.
And what happened?
There was no chance. There was no, I'm telling you, right, like a lot of times when you get like a halt down, it builds up, and there was that move, it cracked to, I was just trying to get, I mean, essentially we had to pay for short, so like all I would have been able to do was get whatever I had paid for anyway, so you're not gonna be able to catch locates in seconds. I was short off the double top, and looking at, I should cancel this order first, guys. Just give me a second here. Cancel.
I'm gonna go long Sega if they.
But yeah, like that's completely insane. Why is that? Here we go. So I was in the short, but I was trying to catch more, and then it went into the halt state at 72s, and I was still trying to get shares down at 72 even, because the second Brendan started mentioning that as the news, you knew this was going to be downside action. Sega is still open.
Yes.
And you're seeing it, off of 12 even. I mean, give me a break. Like it's probably still worth it off of any of these prices. 13 is the stop. But yeah, look. Anybody that sort of read some of these stories understands that all you needed is that like vaccine, like smallpox vaccine, and you're probably good to go. And it's not that big of an outbreak, as much as we were having some amusement with the name. But wow, that was a quick drop on GovX.
Yeah, and nice little drop on Softy. We're going to get out soon on this one too, as looks like we might have chose the wrong way one more time. I mean, it's okay because we actually only have half left. We got some out on the first 256 break. We didn't want to really like hold it all the way back down, but let's see what happens here. Okay, now we're back in the money. Okay, well, wow, how times just changed right there pretty fast for me. Let's see, we'll offer another 20 if we can get it on Microsoft, as the stock literally just ripped up again. Like this NASDAQ is really dancing here. As are some of these big cap stocks. Like they're moving like nuts right now. So let's just be careful with this. I mean, Microsoft does have that high side of 258. I mean, we could retest that and then all will be good. And I think we're going to wait out for that now. Okay, there it is. Yes, 30s. All right, we just got bid in the 30s now for Softy. We'll take another piece out at 257 if this thing wants to rip up there. But we have another, again, I told you we have a position on. So, we'll watch it to see if it can go higher than this. Microsoft right now, 256 long. The short on AMD, I don't need this anymore. I talked about I was thinking about going long on AMD anyways. So we'll take a piece out there as it takes the 50 period, and we're still in the money on it. So we'll do that. But there goes Softy into the 50s now. Did we take a piece out in the 50s? Yeah. Oh, no, we didn't. So like I said, we were waiting for that, but it just bounced off 50. So let's take a piece out. I was waiting at 50, but we didn't get it. So let's go to 50. Let's go to 44 right now. I don't know why. We were at 50 and it bounced off of us. So hopefully Microsoft can get back to the upside. AMC has kind of been sleeping a little bit there, and I wish I would have noticed that AMC went back in, because that was another reload spot down there at 1150. But here it comes back up to the upside. We'll take a piece out at 71.
So I'm not really reloading much of anything here. Here's why. I put this in the chat, but if you look at what just happened, we just had a wick bottom. We had a wick top. We were just talking about this on the NASDAQ. And then you just had a wick bottom in the other direction, and the market caught a bit of a bounce. Like, the way I look at this is essentially this market this morning is simply shaking out stops. It's just running stops in either direction. So, I'd like to see us maybe settle down. We do look like we're in a channel to the downside. So UVXY, that's holdable. I mean, somehow Rivian hasn't stopped me out, and somehow AMC hasn't stopped out through the bottom. So I'm still in those two longs. But I'd be looking for shorts at this point because the overall direction is to the downside. Yet we're now so far away from a lot of the resistance levels that unless you got something on, I don't want to be forcing it. Now GovX is going to open up. It looks like at $1.68, which is basically flat. SIGA, which I was just trying to get short around 12, looks like it's just going to retest some of those bottoms. And Brendan came to the story. The monkeypox does not look like, whoops, sorry, that's still there. Monkeypox does not look like it's going to be a gigantic outbreak. I don't know how many people were thinking that that was going to be true, but if you don't take profit on these things, this is what can happen to you. I don't know how far I need to be chasing this because it's all the way back to not Friday support, Friday close, but I guess lunchtime and early afternoon support at $11 in SIGA. I mean, this started at $8. It's not crazy if it got below 10.
Bing bong, it's time because there it is right there as we'll spin the money finally for it as we go back to positive. I think you can never find this damn thing. Back to positive in this. There we go, man. We just got some out at 257 on Microsoft there off the 256 break. So finally, man, we believed in you, Mr. Softy, as it's starting to go back up to the upside. So yeah, we basically made back absolutely everything that we lost there on Microsoft. Now I got to seek some revenge on SIGA at some point as that was a good out for me, man. I mean, for everybody, if we got out at 13 there, like obviously it's down to $11. So right there, there it is coming out. Now it's all the way to the downside. I know Neil has that short to play with as well, which is nice. All right, so if we can get back upside now on Microsoft, this is really strong, guys. You're up 2%, 1.8, 1.7% here against the NASDAQ. That's only up 0.29. So what's going to happen to Microsoft if the NASDAQ actually rallies? Look out is what's going to happen to it. So we're right now waiting here at 257, the high, 257.30 right into there. See if we can take that out as Microsoft trying to climb and make us, look a little smarter than we actually are as it took out that 256. So good little name there coming through. TDOC down 3%. I'm trying to find some more names. Yeah, Rivian down 6.5. I know Neil's on that, so we don't have to worry. And then, yeah, just trying to, we can look at Twitter today as well. Twitter dancing a little bit. Come on, Softy. I mean, I don't have any money on Twitter right now or in here. I have it in the long-term account, just waiting to get whatever Elon decides to do with that one. But just to let you guys notice, we did just bounce off pretty hard there off 37. So a nice little bottom there with some volume at 37, now up to 37.40. Let's see what happens with Twitter. But I'm going to get one more piece of Softy right there if we can in the 70s. There it is. We got another 73 out there. Now let's just see where it goes, man. I told you we had a big time position on this breaking through 256. We did. We cashed out. Now let's see if Softy can go higher than this. But, oh, man. Brendan's going to discuss SIGA right now with us. Do you want to go on GOVX as it's just opened up?
It's opened up, but it's still so far below that $2 level that it feels like this one might be done. I took some out at 170 on that short at 220s, and I want to reload if it can get anywhere close to $2, but maybe 185 is it. These might just start absolutely cratering. As we go to Brendan, I know he's looking at another one as well in this monkeypox space. Time for the small cap recap. Go get him, Brendo.
Yeah, not much else to do, guys, in small cap land today other than these stocks. So here we go. SIGA. I was just using 14 as a base in the pre-market. So I actually started long on this trade and then flipped it short as soon as 14 let go. So as soon as 14 let go as support, it was obviously weak on the tape, and I was just hammering this all the way down. So 11 ends up being the bottom currently, gave you $3.50 to the downside, depending on where you started shorting that. So a great trade for SIGA on the downside. As soon as I saw that headline, GOVX on the other hand wasn't doing anything. There was a buyer at 2 that was holding it above 2 for the most part in the morning. And then as soon as I saw that headline, I just went over and hit the bid. And that happened. The halts to the downside, got it out at 160 on the way down. So there's actually a lot more room for this one, I feel, to the downside if you wanted to hang on. 140 was that support area from Friday, and then below that, probably $1 for GovX, guys. Back over to you.
GovX, government.
The government. Wow, did you say
pay
government?
That government.
Right. Yeah, pay the government. Always do that.
Yeah, definitely. You got to get your taxes on time there.
Yeah,
141. Well, yeah, you should.
You're supposed to. Death and taxes, like they say. You mentioned it, I think Brendan mentioned Affirm. You mentioned Affirm as well. It's still at that low of the day, right at $24. Which, if you go back to the 15, I should show you guys the 15. This was a pretty significant level. We shorted 24, a lot last week. But if you looked at it, the top of the channel was 25.5. So should have been revisiting this. But if I like 24 in the afternoon, and we hold back below this price, I just want to see this market try to make another leg to the downside. If we get and hold below 25, you've got a nice little bottom channel that you can play. If we sniff 25.5, oh goodness, we're not going to miss it this time. We'll definitely get back over to it. But that GovX, I said it opened back up and looks pretty weak. Yeah, it's pretty weak. It can't seem to get back to a level that I would love to be shorting it, which would be like $1.95, $2. It might just be, this pre-market 180, 185, like that just might be the new top here. And if it does do that, maybe we'll try to get into a consolidation short on GovX. There was another couple, like EBS is another one you should be watching in the space as well. They're probably all dying. Rivian is catching a bid. So I said somehow Rivian and AMC didn't stop out there. Now it's catching a bid off of 27, so 26.5 is held. Now it's catching a bid off 27. If it gets to 28, I think you get out of this one. Well, I think I get out of this one as well. AMC is doing absolutely nothing, which is weird. Boom. This market, it's trying to bounce. It's not going to double bottom, but it's not getting back above VWAP. I needed to get back to like 1185, 1190, and then we'll consider getting out of this one. But market's trying to catch a tiny bit of a bid here. We're still well within the range, and it's just whipsaw action in both directions, off of that range, at least for now. GameStop, we did talk about this. They were the one with a catalyst. So you would have thought they would have been the one to the upside? Nah, it's the other way. Selling off on the NFT news there, NFT wallet or whatnot. But now back at those lows, it was AMC that was relatively stronger, yet both sort of lingering off of these bottoms. If it takes out 90, I would watch out below for that.
Bang! As Softy, we talked to you about this was our biggest trade of the day, and I told you about that. You guys have asked for that, right? Like, when are you putting on shares? What are your biggest trades? So there it is. I told you Microsoft. I had 10 times the shares I had on AMD. So that should have been, I guess, one note there. But there it is, a nice little move to the upside here for Softy. And we just took out another piece. I told you, like, we were literally at 257.31. I mean, that's the price that we got. I don't know why we were at 31. Sometimes you just push offer, enter all the way up, and then boom. So nothing specific on that one. But we do have some more specific orders now out in front of 258. So if it does start to climb, we are now out of like 75% of this trade. So again, it was a big orders for us. We got a lot out at 257 there both times, and then another piece out at 257.30. So I almost canceled it, and I'm glad I didn't, as that's come back in right now. So that's going to be a good trade for us on that one. Oh yeah, update on AMC. It just went to, I know Neil just talked about it, but just went to the 50 period. So we got some out at 70 there for AMC. So that looks like, we're trying to make the money back that we lost early on when we got out there. We punched it back out. We lost about, that's a 48. We got out when it broke 50, and then we got back in at 56. So we did give up about 10 cents or so there with slippage and everything. That's not slippage, but we just punched back in, and it went back up to the upside. And so we're like, okay, we'll take it as that's starting. I still like the AMD short, man. We got out of it. We got out of it a piece right there because that's when we punched the Microsoft long. But you could see our Microsoft long when we punched it was right here, right? So that's continued to go, including Microsoft up to 257, $1 in the money. But look, we were right, man. AMD super, super weak. So we got to try to short this if it comes back into these levels. And this is the stuff. Again, thank you so much for watching and loving the show and all of your feedback. But that's the kind of stuff that we're trying to teach on here is relative strength, relative weakness. And we went long AMD early, man, early for sure. We got taken out a bit there, which wasn't that much, surprisingly. And then it ripped all the way to the high side. And then we took another long, or I guess another long there, got some out upside, and then long, and then lost right there again on the dip down. And then we went short. These purples are short. So we just completely flipped the switch on that. We noticed that it was weak, right? Okay, new position alert right now. We told you we'd do it. There goes a firm. So we are short a firm now at the bottom of the day. Not the bottom anymore. We got 84s. It went down to 70s. So let's take another bid there to see what happens. But we're going to take a firm short. And look, if it takes down the 50 period, breaking through 24.30 or 24.40, then we'll get out. But we're ready to go here. If the NASDAQ bounces back, we'll lose on a firm and then continue to win on Microsoft. But here we go. We're shorting a name that we don't believe in. So if we lose, we lose. Here goes a firm to the downside, I'm hoping. Short a firm.
I just got into Ross. We mentioned, you guys were mentioning the stock was going, and we traded it obviously on Friday off of 75. Just going to show you post-market this channel. So I mentioned 78, but this is why. Like the real rollover, or at least the secondary rollover on the aftermarket earnings play was at that 78 level with a bit of a channel into 79. That is where I'm shorting on Ross just now. We'll see what happens. I mean, it could easily pull back into VWAP at 76. We were asked about, look, we get asked about a lot of things, but someone just said, do we think Elon Musk gives up on Twitter? What I've sort of said is, it seems to me as if he wants to lower the bid. So maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. That's just what it feels like. So right now it's $54.20. My guess is that there'd be some kind of okay, it's now worth the mid 40s or whatever price they come up with. That feels more likely than just completely giving up on the bid and paying that breakup fee, because he does have some leverage with the market being down relatively heavily. The market also seems to be pricing that in. I think that's why it's not trading in the low 30s and is trading in the mid to high 30s. I don't see necessarily a trade in it. I just tend to think he's going to lower that price a bit. Nothing has happened in that regard specifically. Like there hasn't been any official release, but that's just what I tend to think. GovX does not want to go back up to that $2 level. You're seeing it crest right here, so it looks like it could be just 185 that we play off. If it goes sideways a little bit longer, and I'm going to head for the short side of that trade.
I mean, let's go. Let's just fire off this, and we'll fire off some hot dogs. Like we just gave the Affirm trade. It's only 40 cents in the money now, as it's starting to go to the downside right there and just blowing up all over itself. Here goes Affirm to the downside. Unfortunately, I didn't recognize that I had an order here, but I did. So that'll close down the AMD trade right now, and I'm just going to refresh to make sure I don't do that again. I wanted to still be short on AMD, but again, we had an order right there at what was at that point the bottom of the day. So it just goes to show you, man, clean up some of your orders. Like, would have liked to still been in that one, but we're not on AMD there. Oh, and then Microsoft, we just got some, it just bounced upside. Okay, we'll take another piece out here, 45, 46. Microsoft, there it is. So it broke through 256, and we got out of like 10% or something right there, but then it just bumps back up. So we'll get another 10% out for 50. So out 10% for flat, then out another 10% for 50 cents. So we'll see if that one's going to work. The reason why we got out is because Affirm was just cracking lower, and I was like, oh man, like I don't want Affirm to break lower, and then as goes Microsoft, and I'll wind up losing more on Microsoft than I will on Affirm. But there's Affirm. That's going to be a good trade for us. So the money bags keep coming back in now after a couple early losses on some longs. Now the shorts are starting to come in. And what am I talking about? Losses on longs. There goes Microsoft again back to the upside. So yeah, man, we gotta just keep on dip buying into Softy. Let's just forget about everything we've been doing, man. Dip buys into Softy is right. Nothing else for me. So Affirm right now, downside moves. It just bounced off 50, but I'm thinking a lot lower than that. We're already out of half of it. So let's see if we can hold Affirm for lower lows here, just in case the market does want to give up today.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's... Like, we're still in the middle of the range. I think, obviously, we're still
Microsoft
green
highs.
on the NASDAQ. But one stock that might be just as strong as Apple is about to get to that top once again. Yeah. And it's relatively strong. Like, Apple's up that 2%. You're looking at this 141 to the upside, which it needs to break. You just said only Microsoft for dip buys. I mean, Apple, to me, I don't know. Apple looks just as strong as Microsoft on the chart. It's not at the high of the day just yet, but if you look at the support that it put in at the pre-market high of 139, that looks like a relatively good level as well. I do still have AMC and Rivian longs in case the market wants to go up, and then more market mover is going to be UVXY. While we just put the short on in Rost, that's a bit of a different story. That's squeezing to the upside per se, or dead cat bouncing to the upside. I don't know that it'll follow the market as much, but worth noting as we bounce here, and we have that 78 stop on Ross, just to make sure things don't give out of hand. I just added to GovX. Obviously, I had some shares left over from the top, so my average price is going to end up in the middle of where it sits now, in that 220. But I am playing that rollover. If it gets to 165, I think 150 is the next level into the downside. That CBIO is still holding $1. So basically you're seeing 101, 102, all the way up to 115, which does give you a bit of a scalp trade. I just see a double top for a potential break, and then $1 where I'd want to be short if it goes through. I'm not going to diddle in the middle here. I only traded off the $1 before, so I'm either trading a break at 115, 116, or a break down at 1 even. Brendo?
There was a bunch of comments just released there from the Fed guys talking about a household survey Going into 2022, the household survey showing households mostly feeling fine financially, also saying that their living conditions into Q4 remain comfortable from last year to this year. So there was a bit of a move back up. That's another one I was watching, BGXX, but that seemed to cause that move up in the market there from the Fed, guys.
All right. There it is, Tesla through 670 right now. So we're long Tesla right now, 670. We just took a piece out there for $1.30 that's the level that we wanted, man. We wanted that 670, but we're noticing like Tesla's not been super great today. So we'll wait to see. This is just really the first move to the upside. So, you know, if it wants to come back in and take down like 665 or so, then we'll get out and wind up losing on this. But we just took out a third right now. We're going to play it off that 665, but I got to get the stop order in. So that's what I'm doing right now on Tesla. Let's see where it goes. Looks like might fail there at 670, but that's okay. 665 is going to be our out now for Tesla.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with it. The market's still in a bit of that range there. I just got the softy off of that high, so we'll see if it's got a double top on it, right? So it's essentially play off the double top. If it breaks through, then we'll just get out. Apple didn't make the move just yet, but it's about 60 to 70 cents away from its high. The market is running. UVXY starting to come back into that support level, guys. So you are getting a chance. Like this is where like the rubber hits the road. Is that the term?
Yeah,
I think that's
like
the right
that.
one. That's where the rubber hits the road. Is when you get this double top on softy, which has been holding the market. When you get back down into support and volatility, and we're getting close enough to that 12,000 mark that we could be getting the break. So we'll see what happens. The market is trying to go here, and I only have a couple of shorts on, and then UVXY, but AMC now and Rivian both running in the money, so pretty well balanced out here.
Yeah, and there goes Tesla again, trying to make moves here to the upside. So I actually have a firm on board right now, but we're looking at, Tesla just failed again up there at 675. Oh, Tesla, you bad. All right, let's go to 674 to get out of something here if we have to. I don't want to. I mean, we were just up there, and when it stopped at 674, basically flat before reversing back in pretty hard here. So we'll see if Tesla can get us out one more time. I don't know about this name, man. Like I said, I'm not like a big fan of this stock at these levels, but it took that 670, which we liked. So we're going to test it out there. It looks like it's trying to fade back in. We did short more Affirm up there as well. So hey, we'll see what this is coming in. 24.11 is our price. So obviously a market falling on Affirm was great for us, but a market falling is not good for our Tesla trade. That's I don't even know what to do anymore with this stupid trade. It looked like it was just fading, and now it's coming back up. So we're just going to wait. 665 or 670. It looks like 665 is going to come a little faster here, or 675. I must have canceled my 675. That might not come in, but here comes Tesla. A little bit more down, and we'll get out. But we're already out of a third for about $1.30, like I said, and looks like we'll lose maybe clean 5 on the last half, which is our last 2/3, which sucks. But we took the shot. Hopefully, Affirm can pay us off with a little bit of a downside move as well.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens with that Microsoft. I'm kind of on the bid trying to catch some on a bit of a reverse, but while we do that, we might as well take some profit on AMC because that's like Rivian. Like it's been having some trouble getting back through to the upside. You're seeing stocks that are getting back to their highs and trying to break back out, whereas AMC is still lingering off that bottom. It's been good support on the 15, so the buy has worked, but you're not seeing any follow through. That's why I want to take some profit off. And the other one that we have to the long side, Rivian, it's the same thing, right? Like we've taken a couple of legs out, can't seem to get back to that 28 level, so I will cover if we get back up there. As we just, like I said, entered into Microsoft and Rost, want to make sure that we're getting some profit on those longs back in. Brendo?
Tech still weak in general, guys, notably Netflix, 1.8% still. Trying to get higher, though. Just took out that last pivot high there on Netflix. There was a note this morning suggesting that an ad-based revenue platform for them would only increase their revenue by 20% per year. Some projections prior to that were a lot higher. So that was not good for Netflix today.
It's not that much.
Yeah, I know Neil's out of softy, but we'll just go, buddy, on that one because obviously that was a good idea to take this 256. And like I said, man, it was like our biggest trade of the day. Unfortunately, it's still ripping and we're out. We just got it out, piece out at 258, which was the high of the day. So, hey, man, Microsoft, great trade there off that VWAP and 50% and 50 period break. Now, making new highs. So that's going to be a good trade there. Tesla trying to come back upside a little bit, back up. Yeah, I mean, it just tested that 670 one more time. We'll see if it goes, man. Obviously, the market's going to tell us what this is wanting to do. And then Affirm, oh man, like it just went down to the 50 period. We could get some out. It wouldn't be a winning trade if I did. So let's see if it wants to fall back in a little bit. I don't know. I'm like that Tesla. Yeah. See, as the market comes in, we'll bank on a firm, so it should be all good with that one. But we definitely won't be banking anything on Tesla, as it is having a problem with this 670 area. So yeah, we're long here. We're giving it about $5. That is my trade there. Just to check back on Sega. Yeah, not doing much. Just trying to bounce off 11. So you might get some sort of pressure there. And then someone just said JP Morgan breakout. Don't even tell me it took that 123.
The banks are strong.
There it is. Yeah, I took that 123. That would have been a good one as well. We talked about that, but there it goes. JP Morgan up 5% on Investor Day.
Yeah, and just a quick look, I'm not out of Microsoft. Like the Friday high was actually about 258.50 up here, guys. So, the entry point is at 58. But if you look, like it got there several times, not just Friday where it had to barely break. It kind of broke that on Thursday. And then the lower high that it put in on the way down in the afternoon on Wednesday was about that 258.50. And that's why you give it a little bit of extra room there. So it's in the channel that I got it. And I haven't taken anything out just yet because I want to make sure it gets down to 1-to-1. And once it gets to 1-to-1, I will take some off. The other one that I had to the short side, which we just grabbed, of course, was Rost. That was off that 78 level. I have yet to get hit on the bid, but it's got to be pretty close. Yeah, it's just sort of sitting on the bid right now on the pullback. I'll take some on the south side of 77 out and then back into VWAP at 76 as well. I just rang the register for the first time on Microsoft as that starts to pull back in. Then I start thinking about the things that we like to the long side. Now Tesla, you got a double bottom at 640. You reestablished 650, and there was trouble. I didn't get back into the Tesla at 650. It looks like VWAP for me. I mean, if this is going to be a break style day, try and reestablish that level. I'll go to that 55 to 56, where maybe we should have waited for this time of day to take that initial long anyway. So on a pullback, I do like it at that particular price. For now, we just rang the register a second. We just got both fills on Roth. So we'll ring the register once again on ROST. And thank you guys for reminding me about this. It was the first thing that both of us were trading on Friday. And it's one of the last things I looked at, and only because you guys mentioned it, but already working off that nice 78 level.
Okay, so unfortunately, yeah, our Tesla just kind of barcoding, and I just don't really want to get into too much trouble. So we'll take about $1.30 on the first third and then lose 5. No, not even 5. Oh, I guess that broke, and then somehow we got 665 out. So that's good. We wanted lower than that, so it's a good price out. But as you can see, it's starting to rip back up to the upside right now, trying to test that 670 one more time. But we're out. So that's a losing trade, but it could have been a lot nastier if we had still held on to that, but we didn't. So, well, not if we still held on to it, but we'll see how far it goes. Could have been nastier there. Yeah, whatever. Tesla, we're out. Affirm does go all the way down to the price that we're in at, 24.10. Bounces and now starting to go back up, so I like that Affirm short. And then right now we are working with another short right now, AMD, against this level, man, 93. So if it breaks 93, we can get out of here. But everything's above the 50 period, so this one's a little nerve-wracking as well for me right now. Maybe we just use 92.50 or so, 92. Yeah, 92.75 as our out here for AMD. Now back in the money a little bit, so that's a good one. Let's see if this one can make the move to the downside. We could be monstrous here. If Affirm, if the market goes down, we'll have Affirm and we'll have AMD, which are both, trending lower right now. So here comes AMD instantly in the money, 30 cents. We'll put a bid out just to capture something, and then we'll work with Affirm and see if that takes down 24. So hopefully that's coming sooner rather than later for us on Affirm. I got a bid right there, and over at the big screen with Sector Watch. Financials are going to be strong. Let's go see what Brendan has to say.
Hey guys, yeah, mostly green board to have a look at here for the S&P. As I was saying, that those comments from the Fed on consumer sentiment, essentially back to the upside for the overall market, 1.3% now for the S&P. Tech is weak, consumer discretionary weak as well. Some of the retailers to the downside outside of ROST. TJX as well, up 4% on the day, and Dollar General, all three bouncing back after huge moves to the downside to end last week. I did see Best Buy in here, Home Depot as well. There they are, 1% as well for Best Buy and Home Depot, back to the downside as well. But Sean was saying there, banks very, very strong. Industrial stocks very, very strong. All the airlines back to the upside today. That's Deere, 6.5% move for Deere today, back in positive territory. Energy over here and material stocks all higher on the session. So if you take this away and you take this away, this is going to be A lot more, 1.25% right now for the S&P, guys.
Yeah, and you look at the bounce in obviously in the financials pretty impressive, but the bounce in some of these retailers, I'd almost say like a hold my beer, because you saw what happened to Walmart last week, and now it's really starting to go. It just broke through 120 and 121 and took out Friday's high. So this is the strength in that move. This is one of the reasons I like kind of Ross here. Like Ross just gave us a nice pullback off a key level, whereas you're breaking out big time on Walmart. If it gets to like 125, 124, 125, that is the big level. Softy now starting to come back in as the market is pulling back. So we got first leg on Microsoft off that 258. I'm looking for 257 here, and then VWAP for the rest, guys. So nice little pullback in the market. About $10 away from Tesla retesting 650, which we like as well. But softy short starting to work.
Oh, hell yeah, starting to work. Let's go with that one on AMD and Affirm. AMD now, man. Good move, 70 cents now in the money as that's starting to come back down, and we reloaded this a couple times. We got it right there, so let's see if it can continue to make a move to the downside here for AMD. There it goes, gimme, downside, more. We're in the 60s now. We just got 76 bid. Now we wait for the 60s to see if that coming through. Affirm is kind of like not really too friendly here. So we'll put a bid out, get some 11s there. Our average price is right here. We're still up today on Affirm, obviously, as we come back in, but we're bidding now. Oh, we did get a bid. Oh, we did get that 24 bid. Okay, I wasn't sure if we got that. I didn't even look. Let's put another bid down there in case we get that again, but we just got Affirm 2401s, and then I just took, that's why my average price was better. Okay, so we took 2412s there. Now Affirm coming in, and there it is again, man. 80 cents right there. Mamma mia, AMD coming back in right now for that one, as that's, we'll put some more, we'll put lower bids here this time because we're loaded up off my nice little reloaded there on this name to the downside. Yeah, let's go. Here comes AMD. And again, if this market takes this 50 period, there's going to be some problems one more time for a lot of these longs. So here it comes right back in. Wow. Normally we don't kind of do this damage near the end of the show, but we are here doing it today for you. One more bid, and then we'll leave AMD alone for a little bit. We'll get out of, move that 50, see if we can get something down low, 91.20, something like that for a big win. Affirm come in now as well. Let's go Affirm. Now you're in the 90s, baby. That's going to be a good one for us as well. I told you we were pretty glad that we got out of that Tesla trade. Look, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but right there I consider this a win as Tesla just took 660. I was debating that to be my out down there, so kind of glad that we got away from it because it did take 659, but right now bouncing off the 50 period. This is going to sound bad, but I want this market to tank city right now, back down in. This AMD and Affirm short could be killers, guys.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with you though. I actually just reloaded UVXY, came right back into our support level. I'll do this because it'll show you a little bit better. I have my lines drawn on the chart. Back below that 16 and right back into the breakout price that it happened on Friday. And obviously you guys, I know a lot of people were in this to the long side, 1560. I only shorted it off of it, but now into the long in front of it on a reload. So that's, you're betting volatility going long there. That's kind of like thinking a short in the overall market. So that kind of works out in that direction. Microsoft, I'm almost all out of it. Looks like it's still relatively strong, going to go right back up toward that high. If it takes out the top from here, then it's entirely too strong and we'll work with UVXY instead. Tesla, I thought was going to pull back a little closer to that 650 area. Looks like it's holding 660 for now. 650 is a more important line in the sand, at least for me, and we'll see what happens with that. That CBIO, strong bounce off $1. And it kept waiting, like, will it break, will it break? I was like locked and loaded, ready to take that break. Still looking relatively strong on CBIO. And there goes Redbox. I got 2/3 of it out, RDBX, to the downside there off that Hull trade, and now it's taken out the top again. So Redbox looks like it is not done. It's also breaking back to the upside. Some money comes out of the monkeypox and then into some other low floaters because that's what's left. All the monkeypox stocks, of course, pretty much died.
Like that monkeypox stocks. That's funny. Like pot stocks, monkeypox stocks, lots of different names there. Yeah, Sega, just to look at that because that's the name I was in. Bouncing off 11. We were long this name earlier. We were able to take some profit. We were pretty happy about it. And then we waited. We got greedy. We should have got out some there at 15. Like normally, I was actually waiting at 15. I was like, if this runs, man, let's get some 1540s. But now you can see this is a nice little downside move. And by nice, I mean not nice because a lot of people I know are long on SIGA, but maybe an opportunity to buy some. Okay, last time AMC did this, we did not get out, and I was waiting at 70. Once I saw this move up and I wasn't watching it, we put an offer at 79 and missed it. So right now, I'm just thinking that why not just do this as AMC still dancing? Why not just, or Tesla's still dancing. Why not just put a move here at 60, just offer 69, and then it goes back down, but hopefully we can get some fills. Oh, did we get that? Yes, we did. Okay, good. Woo. We were on a inverted pool there, so AMC, we just got some 69s out, not enough. Let's see if that can continue to work. As right now, AMD is at its day's low. Let's get a bid out there. Did not expect this right while the NASDAQ's cracking, so I did expect this to come back in. There it is. Holy crap. We are on one right now. A firm downside, AMD downside. We are ringing the Reggie on all of these right now, so let's do that as it continues to go. The money coming in a little harder than we thought right now, so that's a good move. So here it comes back down. Wow, look at that, 93.90 we just got on a firm. What I'm learning about these thin stocks, put your bids out. Like when I got filled at 24 and I look back, it was at 24.13, like no idea, right? So watch out, just as Microsoft can dance like crazy, so can a firm. So let's put some lower bids here. 70s, 60s, 50s for a firm. Let's just put them out there. We might get hit, man. Like we just got hit at 90 out of the blue there.
Yeah, and you have to get your bids out. That's one thing, the algos hunt. And if you put an order, if it gets to a price and you put orders out at that time, it doesn't matter what the size is. A lot of times it's going to run away from that price because of order entry. So sometimes it pays to have those orders already out there when it gets going. Looks like Tesla's already making a bit of a bounce. This market's coming back into the upside because Microsoft just took out the high. We got out 2/3 of that one for the win, and now looks like it's taking out those tops. So Softy's starting to go. Could be a bit of a reversal there. Rost is the other short that we had, Ross Stores. It's not really bouncing off 77, so not too concerned with that. It looks like it's still pulling back in. But names going to the upside that we still have, Rivian, trying to make its break back out here. So I'm on the offer. We got the double bottom. We got the price we wanted to defend here, but it still hasn't really broken out. If this move up can't take Rivian through the high, especially with Tesla retesting the top, then nothing is going to get it through that top. So got to watch out for Rivian very, very closely there. I just got an accidental long in Microsoft that I didn't want. Okay, it'll make a few cents, but I didn't actually want it. Adjusted my stop for when I got out of the profit of the short, but I didn't cancel the previous one. So accidental long, get it out. I understand it would have been a win, but I didn't look for that long trade.
Okay, so right now we are, we just reloaded. So, okay, I'm reloaded right now. Where is that? There it is right there on a firm. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. So we're going to get out here if it breaks through 60. We've already been reloaded here before. If we break through 60, we're going to get out. We're just touching 50 now, so let's get out. How good right now, oh, Canada for this one, as hopefully monkeypox don't go crazy over here. AMD to the downside right now. Look where we just got out, man. We were going crazy there. We're like, oh my God, AMD's at the low of the days. We just push bid enter. We got out at 91.12, some shares there. As we put it back on the short, actually we did not put the short back on a firm. We probably should be putting it back on right now on AMD as well. We'll have another look at that quickly as that's come back down. Yeah, it's still 92.50 though, would still be my out. So I don't really have a new out. So we can hold on to this one a little bit. The reload was on a firm. And then there, it looks like we made a mistake getting out at 70 or 69 for AMC as it's right back to 80 again. So, hey, things working out on the short, man. I'm so glad that we wound up reversing it. We are going to have a couple negative Nancy's here, including Microsoft is negative for us today despite, well, yeah, so that last bit turned. Getting out down there hurt a little bit. If we just waited, we would have been positive. But we took out some nice trades there for Microsoft after being horrendous on the short. We made it all back. Like, we're slightly down. I shouldn't really say that. Our biggest down stock today is going to be this guy, is going to be Tesla, because again, we took more shares on it than we probably should have. Not that we should have, but it gives us that negative hit. And then the only other one today that we traded was SIGA. And again, this is a negative name for us. I don't normally trade these, so we didn't put on a whole hell of a lot of risk, but still negative on SIGA. But everything else looking like it's going to make us a decent amount of cash here. AMD, Affirm, AMC, and Apple all winners. So we're going to go 4 and 3 today, and hopefully continue this wreckage into. Oh, you know what, Playmaker? The Panthers lost. This is why it's the biggest joke about the Maple Leafs. I was saying this to you guys live when we were doing this, that we just faced Tampa. And I know your friend said Tampa was a joke, but Tampa's the most serious team in the East. No, they're not. They just beat the #1 team in the whole league.
No, I said they are. Not that they're a joke. They're serious.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't say that.
No, I said your friend. Yeah,
but I think he was
who
just
remains nameless.
I think he was just being a bit of a Leaf homer. I think that's more it than he actually thought Tampa was any good. He's a big hockey fan. He knows hockey.
So, anyways, Tampa Bay just gets rid of the #1 team, and Tampa Bay and Toronto were about as equally matched as you could be. So that sucks for us. But hey, sound like a Leafs fan over and over again with these excuses. So it is what it is right now, as we like to say. Oh my God, Brendan's been waiting at the screen this whole time. I don't know, Brendan, are you watching NHL still? We'll see if that goes over to Brendan right now. I know he's more of an NBA kind of guy. Over to Brendan at the big screen.
It's summer. No, is the answer. Big moves, guys, on the currency board so far today. Full percent to the downside for the dollar. We were talking with Frank Caberna, if you joined us this morning, in the pre-market. He's been, as I said, banging the table on the short side for the DXY for quite some time. The EU coming out this morning talking more rate hikes to come over in Europe, so that's helping to the downside here. The euro, meanwhile, full percent and change to the upside. Here goes the Canadian dollar as well, back above 78.25 after quite the move to the downside over the past couple of weeks. British pounds higher, basically everything to the upside here, including the Russian ruble having another huge day, 11.5%, 1.7 cents for the ruble. New Zealand higher as well, along with Australia. Bitcoin and Ethereum holding gains, guys, but we are coming off from some of the levels we saw in the pre-market. But positive day right across the board. Back over to you.
Well, it was a positive day. It is still a positive day for some of the monkeypox stocks. And one of them, EBS, Emergent Biosciences, is one of the bigger names out there. I know we've been looking at the small cap names in the space because of the way they move. But, rightfully pointed out there, a couple people in the chat mentioned watch EBS. It is trying to claw back to the upside. I have my eyeballs on it because I am in the GovX short, actually trying to add to it in this price range at that 185 in front of VWAP, but maybe not as sexy in terms of volume, but maybe just as good in this channel. And again, with the news being that the risk of it spreading to the global population very low, according to the EU Health Agency, that's why you're getting this pullback. So EBS does make a little bit of sense here if you're looking for something else to play to the short side, maybe 39, I should say that, and then 39.5, the top end of the channel. The only short that we still have left on, outside of obviously UVXY to the long, is that Ross stores, which at least for now looks like it's barcoding here. But if this market makes another leg into the downside, I'm expecting to cover this at 76, get it all out at that particular price. It's such a strong move since it's wipe out earnings that this is a clear counter trend trade, right? So we played off the level at 78, and I don't think we're going to flush too much further than that 76 level, guys. GovX did it just capitulate again? No, it didn't. Sorry. I just actually added it to it at 185, and then it puts another one of those big candles in. So the halt price down of 172 is now turning into a bit of support for GovX, which means I should be getting some shares out on the way down towards that price level. You can kind of see here, like it's holding a pretty decent bid above that halt price down. When that EU news dropped, they all fell. It was GovX that actually halted to the downside. Sega did not, EBS did not, but GovX fell like a rock.
Bang. We are beating up. We're doing some damage to a firm right now today. As a firm, we're short at 24.40 again. Look at all these shorts, bang, to the downside. A firm getting beat up by me today. So hopefully that's, sorry about your accounts if you're long a firm. I still think a firm has a chance to go, but I just tagged Brendan as well in the Twitterverse because that JP Morgan story was really what got me going on a firm. Otherwise, I wasn't even looking at it. So there it is, man. A nice little move back down in. They came, and it's not, they had a nice move up there, and then all of a sudden JP Morgan getting involved in the buy now, pay never game. So that one to the downside here for a firm. You don't want more competition, man. I know they have the good deal with Amazon and things like that, but hey, this fintech space, and it's not just beating up on a firm. I mean, I'm sure if I look at PayPal, they bought Paybe or something like that, was a name that they got invested in as well. As by the way, right now, AMD taking down days low, and you know that I'm in that one, so that's going to be a good one. Yeah, Same kind of movement here. Boom, to the downside on that news, and then a nice little move back. So PayPal seems to be recovering okay from that news as they went back to day's high, but not for this beat-down name Affirm. They didn't even come close. So Affirm was up there. The news comes out, bang, to the downside there, and now we're just like getting all of these out. Like we've just hit this against that 2460. So you want to talk about this. Brad talks about it all the time, so we'll go, yeah. Because it's risk to reward, right? It's the ratio right now. A lot of you guys know about the ratio as well. Neil explained that to me last week. I'm thinking the ratio was something different. People might know what that is as well. But right into there, 2460. So I was giving myself 17 cents worth of risk. It's now in the money 50 cents, right? So you're at 3-to-1, 4-to-1, extended even lower right now. So this is going to be a good trade for us. And then, of course, AMD just double touched the bottom, triple touched however many times you want. 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 right now. But as long as the market is below here, we got to hold on to something, man. This is what I always do. And then I kick myself when I'm like, I don't have any left. So let's just hold on to Affirm. Let's hold on to this name here, AMD. The 2 A's. Oh, the 3 A's right now, Affirm, AMD, and AMC. I guess I got to add Apple to get the quads here, but we'll hold this one. We're going to give this one to 1145. We've already got it out twice here at VWAP out of that trade, so AMC, another nice name for me. But again, could have been a lot better if we didn't get dumped out right there.
Yeah, AMC, it's weird. AMC just, everything else is like at least giving you a wider range that it's playing inside of, but that's a bit of a disappointing one. Rivian a little bit better than that. I want to get to Amazon just very, very quickly. Yes, it's getting crushed, down 3%, which is, if you think about it, the bounce back that you're seeing in some of these other retail names, not a great look that Amazon isn't at least participating in it. You've had some big tech catch bottoms in terms of Microsoft and Apple, and then you've had Walmart bounce back to the upside. That's a crappy look for Amazon, quite frankly, that it's going to still be down when some of these other names are getting to the upside. But it also puts 2,000 back into play. If this market rolls over, we saw some big levels on Friday, 250 250 Microsoft. Of course, we saw several big levels on Tesla as well. But 2,000 Amazon might be just as big, if not bigger, than all of them. And as relatively weak as it is today, if this market falls, that is the #1 level I'm going to be watching all afternoon if we happen to get it. Until then, we have to move on, guys. Rivian, still looking relatively strong here, but it cannot seem to get past this 27 quarter and VWAP. And there's now an offer for 50,000 shares just sitting there in front of VWAP. This one is resisting going. It just took it out. If them filling that order can't get it back into the 27.5 range, then this stock simply doesn't want to give you $1, and it only wants to give you a scalp trade of 30, 40, 50 cents, and you just got to be able to accept it. Rivian, super, super weak today. I did like a short, but obviously, as usual, when it goes down, it doesn't even give you an entry, it feels like, on Rivian. Brendo?
All right, guys, about a minute to go here. So not much in the way of earnings. The only notable name aftermarket tonight is going to be Zoom, ZM. We'll get Best Buy as well before the market opens tomorrow. So more retail, as we said, to come coming up later this week.
I missed all that.
No, later this week. I know we get NVIDIA Wednesday.
Yeah.
Thursday
Macy's.
we get Macy's and Costco. We also get those are the ones. I mean, those are the big three that I think we all care about here. So that's what we're going to be patiently waiting for. As many of you guys obviously know, Ms. V, her visa expired, so she's no longer with us. But of course, we've got a little something for you guys with Trader Pratt is going to be joined by 3 of our traders on the floor in succession, each going to be going on with him. So never fear. We got you guys covered. Maybe they'll trade a little bit of Tesla, but you're going to see who it is, 1, 2, and 3. You've seen them before, but this will be a little bit of a different atmosphere, sort of filling in for and sort of replacing Ms. V temporarily, some traders on our desk.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about everything. We already talked about that. Lucas, you can hit that thing again if you want, if you have that resume thing, but if not, that's fine. We are looking, obviously, to replace Ms. V, however hard that's going to be. Impossible. It is marketing@tradertv.live. That's okay if we don't have it now. We could probably throw it on the midday show, but marketing@tradertv.live if you are interested. A firm still coming to the downside. AMD made a move back up. We want to continue to short that one. But yeah, it's been a really, really fun day. Thank you one more time for everybody watching here today. And yeah, we do have some good treats for you. We'll see if Prad has his smiles or frowns on as he goes sort of, sidekick less, but he has sidekicks. 3 in a row coming through. It just ain't Miss V. Oh, see, let me see. Oh, yeah, this guy's way more handsome than Miss V sitting there right now. So let's go over to Brandon and Prad on the midday show. Kill it, guys.
Go get him.
I don't know about the way more handsome than Miss V part, but, you know, a good little, I wouldn't even say sidekick, a good partner in crime, a new partner in crime. We miss Miss V, obviously. Welcome, Brandon, to Market Movers segment. Obviously, you've been here before.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
Let's get the ball rolling. I'm going to start off with a couple of my trades. If you guys see any awkwardness between us,